myself right now. I'm not a teacher. I've never been a teacher before, but have been a student for my entire life now. Grew up in China and I got a PhD and did my postdoc and then spent 2 years in management consulting. And that's where I started learning about marketing, sales, and pricing, which are very fundamental for any businesses, right? So both strategies started in 2019. At first just myself, and then we have a team. You guys have seen some of our members yesterday, Christy and Steffi. Today you're gonna see Robbie. So we all on the same team working with teachers. We help teachers turn their teaching expertise into income, impact, and freedom. So to achieve that, we actually do 4 things, right? Number one, leverage online opportunities. We want to introduce these online opportunities to help teachers increase and diversify their teaching income. And that's one of the reasons for these sessions today. We want to tell you all the things, a lot more things you can do online, a lot more ways to make money, to 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 live better, right? As a teacher. So and the second one, get your own students online, charge what they're worth. A lot of teachers are trying to get their students online, but or working for company, they're charging $15 an hour, $20 an hour, but there are ways to charge much higher rates through niche teaching. That's not the focus of today, but we're definitely going to do more about this in the future. Generate passive income by developing and selling digital materials and courses, right? We're going to talk about that today. Make recurring monthly income with your own membership program. We're going to talk about that today too, right? So over the past 5 years, we've empowered over 40,000 teachers, and we worked with 5,000 teachers through one-on-one group coaching, digital courses, memberships. We have a lot of things offering. We are helping teachers getting the results. And Steffi gonna share this link with you guys. We just had a new website. I really like this website. We're gonna continue building it. Really help. There are a lot of free stuff on the website you can grab, right? Join our Facebook community. Steffi gonna share this link as well. We have 18,000 members right now. Join it to meet other like-minded teachers. So we really take the pride in working with teachers and are dedicated to helping you grow to the next level and earn what you're worth. So feel proud to be a teacher, feel the prestige, right? As a teacher, you are worth more than what you're getting. And we just need to find a way to do that. And I hope today's session is gonna inspire you, right? Very quickly on the summit overview and logistics. So did I miss one slide? Yeah. So we have 2 days, right? If you missed yesterday was about 3 success pillars to earn what you're worth by doing what you love. Okay, we talk about the strategy, the mindset, the technology, right? Today we're gonna talk about 5 ways to make money online with the knowledge you already have. Okay, so that's the focus. And I didn't send the day 1 recording to any of you guys yet, but I will send both day 1 and day 2 recording to your email after the summit today, probably maybe 2 hours after the sessions today. I will send it to you. And the 5 show up bonuses from day 1. So today, if you read the email, you're gonna have nine show up bonuses. Okay, so including the 5 we shared yesterday, and we are giving another 4 extra show up bonuses for today. It's an online teaching cheat sheet, teach aboard quick start guide, ready to teach business English curriculum. This 75% discount that was from Robbie, and all presentation slides from today's day 2. Okay, and the 5 ones from yesterday, pre-made social media post template, how to become a wealthy teacher entrepreneur. Someone commented on this training that was wow, right? And a Canva design for teachers, getting started with online teaching, and all presentation slides. So you get all these 9 show up bonuses if you stay until the end. So we will give you the link to these bonuses at the latest at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is about 3 hours from now. Okay. All right, all slides of those workshops. So you don't have to take notes. I know teachers like to take notes. You don't need to take any notes. Just sit there, listen, have fun. Okay. You're gonna have all the slides from this workshop. Okay. So before we get into, I do have more time today. Yesterday I only have 15 minutes. Today I have 30 minutes. Okay. So I want to talk about one very important thing for all teachers to know, to understand, and this is kind of the foundation of what we're going to talk about today. Is I want to start with a solution for teachers, okay? So what I mean by this, what I want to talk about this. So first of all, we need to face this, right? There are challenges in education. So the education systems and the marketplace have not been rewarding teachers enough for their time and effort. Teachers are underpaid, undervalued, and underappreciated. So that's, I guess, for most of you, this is the reason you're here, because you want to find ways to make more money, feel more valued, more appreciated. That's why you are here, right? If say yes, if it is you here, right? If say yes, if you see the challenges in this education system, they're not rewarding teachers enough for their time and effort, and teachers are undervalued. Scott said yes, 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 and this is the reason for many of you guys here today, and how teachers are currently paid. So yes, there are challenges, but we need to understand why the challenges, why we have challenges, and how can we solve it, right? So the first thing I want you guys to understand is how teachers are currently paid. How are you getting paid right now? So teachers are compensated for their time to teach students through schools, companies, or independently, either one-on-one or in groups. That's the case for many teachers. So you get paid by teaching at the classroom, by teaching online, by teaching through company schools, by teaching students, right? That's how you get paid. And the problem is they don't have enough money to pay you. All right, it's not that they don't want to pay you, they don't have enough money to pay you. The government, the education system, the schools, the companies, it's not like they're really greedy. Yes, some of them are very greedy, but most of them are struggling too. They don't have money to pay teachers for their time. They don't have enough money to compensate teachers for their time. And these are fundamental challenges. We're getting the debate, right? The presidential debate tonight in the US. I mean, whatever they're going to talk about, there are a lot of things they have to worry about. Education, just a one slight thing they have to worry about. And they are not allocating enough money in the system so that teacher get paid. So there are a lot of fundamental challenges that will take significant to fix if they can be fixed at all. So that means we can't expect the schools, the companies, the markets, the governments to suddenly have more money to pay teachers. Yes, there are strikes everywhere right now, teachers in the UK, and we just had one in our neighborhood. So yes, but they don't have money. They don't have money, and these fundamental challenges cannot be solved, and we cannot expect them to suddenly tomorrow just get paid better. It's not going to happen. And then what the problem is, and what's happening right now is classroom teachers haven't had their salary raised in years. If some of you guys are classroom teachers, you can tell us if this is true, because I talked to classroom teachers who told me, "Hi, James, my salary has stayed the same for the past 10 years. 10 years. Do you know how much is the inflation right now? Like how much more you have to pay for all the grocery you do, everything, the reading, the electricity, everything, but their salary hasn't been raised for years. If you're a classroom teacher, tell me if this is true for you. Online teachers are getting paid less than $20 an hour. Like a few years ago, like when I first started business in 2019, I keep hearing people, "Oh, I'm only getting paid for $20. And then last year, people start telling me they're getting paid for $10, $7. It's ridiculous. And independent teachers are pressured to reduce price due to price wars with each other, right? So you see all the teachers on the platform, they're just fighting against each other. They're reducing the price, and teachers are leaving teaching. Thousands of teachers, thousands of them leaving every single month. They just no, they're trained. They're trained to be a teacher. Years of education, years of training. Now they're leaving teaching just because everything's happening, right? James says 7 years now, right? Rates are not proportional to inflation. So this is what's happening. And to summarize what I said so far, teachers have been relying on others to pay for their time, right? So that's currently traditionally teachers are relying on others meaning government, schools, companies, or your even your students, independent students, to pay for your time. Not enough money to pay teachers what they're worth for their time right now, and teachers feel underpaid and undervalued. So anyone see what the problem here is? Like, anyone see what the problem is here? Anyone can see the problem here? Cynthia, where I teach, online teachers will start to be paid less. Yes, they're actually reducing the rate right now. Just because it's not because they are getting greedy, more greedy. It's not. They have pressure too. They need to maintain a margin. Like the government, the schools, they have to run their business. They have to push whatever they can push, right? So the problem is they don't have money, and anyone can see what the problem here is. The middleman. Okay. I'm not gonna ask you to guess. Okay, so the problem is time, guys. The time. There are a lot of problems, right? The problem with the government, middleman, a lot of problems. But the problem here is time. Teachers don't get paid enough for their time, right? And teachers don't have more time to make enough money. Yes, if I'm getting paid at $10 an hour, if I have 48 hours a day, I still can make more money, right? But you don't have that time. You have family, you have other things. I know teachers working for 5 jobs, right? It doesn't matter how many jobs you work, you don't have more than 24 hours, right? And you don't get paid enough for every hour you spend. That's the problem, the time. So then we need to find a solution. If we don't expect the schools, the companies, your students suddenly want to pay you more, we need to find a solution. We need to find a solution here, all right? A solution for you, teachers, to diversify your income, to make more income without relying on being paid for your time. Okay, Deborah said, I have 5 jobs. Peter said, time is the problem. I agree. Yeah. So the solution we need to find is to diversify your income, to make more income without relying on being paid for your time, because they don't have money to pay your time and you don't have more time. Does it make sense to you? That makes sense to you guys? So this is, yes, of course, in the ideal world, right? We suddenly getting paid more. Everyone get paid for $100 an hour. That would be great. But this is not gonna happen. And for us, for teachers, what you can do is to think about ways to diversify your income, to make more income without relying on being paid for your time. Okay? And this is what I want to introduce you today. And even for the whole summit today, day 2, knowledge monetization. Okay, knowledge monetization. So I want to explain what it is and how you can benefit from it. So this is a movement, guys. Knowledge monetization is something we're pushing very hard. Really help teachers understand. So teachers are subject experts. Just like other professionals, teachers can make money without getting involved in teaching or spending time teaching by monetizing their extensive knowledge, expertise, experience, and materials they have already developed throughout their teaching careers. So you are subject experts, all right? You have a lot of things that you can monetize without spending time in teaching, okay? That's what I'm trying to understand. And you have to think about, if you're teaching students, what do your students need from you? They need your knowledge, your expertise that can help them solve the problem. So whatever the problem is, if they want to have better scores, they want to pass exams, they want to get a job, they want to get promoted, they want to pass interviews, whatever their problems are, they want to get the results, and they need your knowledge, your expertise. As long as you can help them get the problems, they pay you, and they don't necessarily need your time or you sitting next to them for hours and hours. All right. So as long as we can help them, so then can we find a way that allows you to help students by spending less time or no time at all? Can we? Of course we can. We can pass your knowledge to students through digital assets to make income without trading time for money. Without trading time for money. So what are digital assets for teachers? There are so many options. Okay, books, ebooks. You can write books. Just turn all the experience, expertise you have just into books, and people can read. Right, worksheets, printables. You can print them out. You can develop worksheets, lesson plans, curriculum, flashcards, study guides, quizzes, assessments, digital courses, pre-record videos. You don't have to teach. You just record yourself teaching, and people can watch, can learn from you. right? You're not involved in teaching, you're not involved in delivering your knowledge. You don't need to be there sitting next to them and teach them, right? Pass your knowledge. You can just turn that into digital assets and teach them. And also AI chatbots. Okay, this is something I'm very excited about. I will introduce to you guys more in the future. You can train AI to teach just like you, and this is gonna happen within the next year. Okay, AI chatbots, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna help teachers develop their AI chatbots. So you don't need to teach your chatbots, your bots, your robots gonna teach for you and make money when you are sleeping. Okay, so these are ideas for teachers to develop digital assets, and knowledge monetization is about turning your teaching expertise into digital assets to teach or support your teaching so you can work less and more, okay, and earn more. This is a new way for teachers to earn what you're worth by doing what you love. All right, I want you guys comment yes if you're ready for knowledge monetization. So this is what we're pushing for teachers to understand how this works. You don't have to sit there with your students hours and hours and hoping that somebody's gonna pay you more. This is not gonna happen, at least in the next few years. The problem is not gonna be solved. And then now we just need to think about ways of diversifying your income, making money without spending the time. The time is the problem, and knowledge monetization is the solution. I see a lot of yeses, so guys. Comment yes. I need you guys to kind of respond to me like, yes, yes, if this is what you need, right? This is what you need. Okay. Knowledge monetization with Bobby strategy. We do a lot of things here with knowledge monetization. We help teachers create and sell educational materials, develop and sell digital courses, start grow membership. We're gonna cover all of these a few times in the next few sessions. So we got really a lot of good results for our clients sending educational materials like on TPT or through social media. We also got a lot of good results for our teacher clients sending digital courses. So digital courses is a great way to scale your business to suddenly making thousands, right? Because it's passive income. And also we have clients doing membership, getting like 100 members, 200 members in their membership and making recurring income. Okay, so I have 4 minutes. I want to quickly highlight day 2. So just get you ready for what's next today, okay? But I want you guys keep the excitement, knowledge monetization. I hope that is your takeaway today. Think about ways of diversifying your income. Think about ways making money without you spending time, because time is the problem. We can't expect people to keep paying you more and more for your hours. Yes, that could be possible with niche teaching, but with knowledge monetization, it's gonna be helpful too. So day 2 highlights. So on day 2, we focus on five ways to make money online with the knowledge you already have. So these 5 ways we're gonna highlight today: teaching, tutoring for agents, companies, schools, independent teaching, tutoring, selling teaching materials, promoting digital courses, and running memberships. So these are 5 ways. There are more ways, but we're gonna focus on these 5 ways today. And the Getting Started with Online Teaching by Jamie. So because Jamie lives in Australia and she couldn't join our session, join the summit, so she recorded a video getting started with online teaching. And that's one of the bonus in the show up bonus. Some of you already have this, right? Have already got this from yesterday. So in her video, she recorded, she talked about teaching, tutoring for agents and company schools, and independent teaching and tutoring. So that is part of the show up bonus. All right. So from teacher to tutor by Kelly, and that's gonna happen. Actually, this is wrong. Sorry. This is gonna happen. Let me change this. This is gonna happen at 12 p.m. Not 12:30. I made a mistake there. 12 p.m. By Kelly. And Kelly gonna talk about teaching, tutoring for agents, schools, and the companies, independent teaching and tutoring. So Kelly run her own tutoring business with 160 students. A lot of teachers working with for her as well. If you're interested in that, please join us on that session. And then Robbie actually gonna join me right away after this part. He gonna talk about setting teaching materials on social media, and then after that, we're gonna have a teacher online success panel discussion at 12:30 p.m. And I invited 5 teachers, Meredith, Martin, Simon, Rachel. Here, we're gonna have a panel session to talk about teaching, tutoring, independent teaching, promoting digital courses, and running memberships. Okay, so this is the agenda. I'm done with my 30 minutes. I'm gonna pass it to Robbie, and then Kelly gonna come, and then we're gonna do the panel discussion. And then we're gonna talk about Teacher Academy again, okay? All right, so this is all from me. I'm gonna stop sharing, and then Robbie, if you're here, by the way, we have 154 teachers here. Hey, welcome. If you were late to the session, missed the part that I talk about monetization, knowledge monetization, don't worry, I'll send you the recording, can catch up with the part because that's important, okay? That's important. That's gonna be the solution. I don't expect all the teachers to be able to charge $100 an hour, okay? But with monetization, knowledge monetization, everyone can make enough. Okay, so that's the key here. I'm gonna look for Robbie. Let me see, Robbie. Robbie is, oh yeah, Robbie's here. Let me just bring you to panelist. All right, I did a good job. Okay, I'm I'm on time. I was late for like 10 minutes yesterday. Yesterday for the session. Hey, Robbie. Hey,
Hey, all
hey, yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Good to
You
see
can
you,
see me
man.
okay?
How are you
Yeah,
today?
great job, James. Great intro. You've got me feeling pumped up for this, so hopefully everybody
I
else
hope
is.
I hope my energy level is not too high for you, okay? I know it's hard to. Anyways, you're gonna do great, all right, Robbie. So I'm gonna do the I'm gonna spotlight you, and if you want to share your screen and your slides, uh,
Sure.
do that. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be on the back. If you need me, let me know. All right.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, James. Okay, hey everybody, let's get the scary tech stuff out of the way first. So if you can see me, if you can hear me okay, please put a yes in the chat. That would be fantastic. So I know I'm not talking to myself. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Oh, awesome. I see a lot of familiar names. Fantastic. All right, great stuff. So, before I jump in to talk to you about selling teaching materials on social media, I want to start with a question. So, right now, how excited do you actually feel about the prospect, about the idea of creating and selling your own resources to other teachers from around the world? See if you can put a number on it between 1 and 10. 10 being incredibly exciting, 1 being it doesn't light you up at all. Let me assess the temperature here. Wow, we've got a lot of high numbers already. Cynthia is up at a 10. We've got an 8, a 9. I see. I think I've seen the first 1 million here. Fantastic. Thank you, Josephine, for that. We've got a few lower numbers. Okay, 4.5. Cool. Well, my objective for the next 30 minutes, if you're at a 5, if you're at a 6, whatever number you're at, I want to see if I can get you up 1 or 2 numbers. So take you from a 6 to an 8. If you're at a 4, maybe I can get you up to a 6. So you're feeling more encouraged, more excited at the prospect of doing this. So that's my mission for today. In terms of the plan, we're on a tight schedule. All right. So I'm gonna do my best. I've got about 29 minutes. Here's the plan. I want to talk to you a little bit first about what passive income selling resources looks like, what passive income really is, and what it isn't. So you can have a realistic idea about what to expect, and then you can decide whether or not this is something you are interested in. I want to talk about the types of resources you can sell. So I'm going to throw a few questions out there. Hopefully I'll spark some light bulbs, spark some ideas about what you could do, what you could build a business around selling your own resources. I want to talk about the number one most important principle when it comes to actually selling, marketing, making sales using social media. And then finally, it wouldn't be a presentation if I didn't talk about my own mistakes, missteps I've made, and ways that you can avoid making the same mistakes as I did. So if this is a road you decide to go down, hopefully I can shortcut the learning curve for you. So if that sounds good, just give me a yes in the chat. You can throw an emoji in there. Um, cool. All right, great stuff. Awesome. All right, brilliant. So I can already see a lot of familiar names there, which is fantastic. So I'm going to keep this really quick, just in case we haven't met before. I want to give you a quick introduction and just explain why I'm really happy, why I'm really excited to be here sharing this with you today. So, like many of you, I come from a teaching background. Right up until 2020, I was working in an English language school, teaching ESL here in my home city of Dublin. And I found it a really rewarding job. I got some cool opportunities too. I got to travel, I got to give a few talks to other teachers. So it was a really rewarding job. But for any of you who have worked in the TEFL industry, I'm sure you can relate to me when I say there are some frustrations in the industry as well. So, for example, a school I worked in, the first school I ever worked in actually closed overnight. So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unpredictability in the industry. So when 2020 happened, and of course that big event happened in 2020, I saw this as an opportunity to see if I could do something independently. I love teaching. Let's see if I can build an online teaching business. So I really tried everything. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of missteps. And after about 5 or 6 months, I didn't have a lot to show for my efforts. I had a few one-on-one students. They were paying me between 20, €25 an hour, and I found it really difficult to build any kind of consistency, any stability around this as an independent business. And it was around that time I got a message from a gentleman that you're all very familiar with, James Liu, and he sent me a message on Instagram and he sent me a free copy of his ebook. And the big promise on James's ebook was you can teach online independently and you can earn $100 an hour. Now, for those of you who have worked in TEFL, probably like me, you would have a very skeptical reaction to that. I was extremely skeptical. $100 an hour, this is an industry where it's very difficult to break past $20 an hour. Anyway, I figured I had nothing to lose. I read his ebook in one evening, and there was one big light bulb, one big takeaway moment from it for me. And that was to build a successful online teaching business. It takes more than just being a good teacher. You've got to plug gaps in your marketing and in your sales. And that was it. That was really the penny dropping moment for me. So from that point on, obviously, I'm a teacher. I had no experience, no background in marketing or in sales, but I immersed myself and tried to learn as much as I possibly could, as quickly as I could about these areas. And around midway through 2021, so this was the month May to June 2021, I took this screenshot. And I know we all have different objectives, different goals, different financial targets, but this was a really significant moment for me because this was the first time independently I'd managed to break that threshold of earning €5,000 in a single month. And the reason this was so significant was this was the proof I needed that, okay, this is really possible. I can do this without working for a school, without working for an online platform. It is possible to do this myself. And around this time, I'd transitioned into teaching groups, and coming up to the end of 2021, my business had got some traction. I started to have conversations with other teachers, sharing some tips, sharing some advice about what worked for me. James invited me to speak to his Facebook community, and at the beginning of 2022, James actually invited me to become a member of his team. So since then, my role has really been helping teachers plug their gaps in their marketing, plugging their gaps in their sales so they can have more success working independently. And that's why I'm so happy to be here with you today, sharing what I've learned about this area with you. So hopefully I haven't put you asleep with my story. Hopefully you're all still with me here. So I want to talk about my journey actually selling my teaching resources now to other teachers. So this has never been my primary business, my primary source of income. This is always something I've had in the background. It's been a secondary source of income for me. So I want to give you an idea of what I've actually been able to earn from doing this. So I set up a Teachers Pay Teachers store early in the pandemic, early 2020, and that store to date has gone on to make just over $7,800. Now, I also have my own website where I sell resources, and that recently crossed 52,000 euro. So it's hasn't been able to buy me a Lamborghini, but it's not an insignificant amount of money I've made doing this. And I think the cool thing is, like, recently, and it can happen quite often. You wake up, you look at your phone, and you get a notification. Hey, congrats, you've made a sale. And in this case, this screenshot here, this was for a resource I created almost 4 years ago. And okay, $8, it's not a lot of money, but it paid for my coffee that morning, and it paid for my game of five-a-side football that evening as well. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's the thing about passive income. And on that note, I want to talk about a really important concept called the Valley of Disappointment. And this is something I first read about in Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you haven't read it, I really recommend it. Maybe you have read it. You can let me know in the chat. I think it's a fantastic book. And yeah, a few people have read it. Very good. A few people haven't. Well, one thing that really stuck out to me when I was reading this is James Clear. He talks about this period of time called the Valley of Disappointment. And this is really at the beginning of any new endeavor we undertake. Usually we have an expectation, right? So if I do X if I do X hours work today, then I should see Y results tomorrow, right? The hard work I'm doing should correlate to the results I'm seeing. And that was my expectation. And the reason I'm so happy I came across this concept is it shows that things don't necessarily work out like that in reality. Very often, when we start something new, there's a period of time where we do a lot of hard work. We put the hours in, we put the effort in, learning new skills, doing the work, and we don't see any tangible results. And that can be really, really discouraging for people. In fact, this is a period of time where most people give up. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is the way we should view this period of time. We can use an analogy. Think about bringing a pot of water to the boil, right? You put the pot of water there, you turn the heat on. The water, it's heating up all the time, right? Beneath the surface, energy is building, it's heating up consistently, but we don't actually see any noticeable, tangible changes right away. But just because we can see those changes, it doesn't mean nothing is happening. So this period of time, when you do the hard work, it's really important to take solace in the fact that you may not see the results straight away, but that doesn't mean the work you're doing is going to waste. And just to illustrate this a little bit better, this is from my Teachers Pay Teachers store, right? So you can see this was my own personal valley of disappointment. So you can see January 2020, February 2020, March 2020. I started the store January 2020, zero sales, $0. February, zero sales, $0. And this was, I was doing a lot of work every day. I was putting the work in, I was uploading resources, trying to polish them up for other teachers, nothing. And it wasn't until the very end of March 2020. I remember I was in the housemate. I was in the kitchen at the time. My housemate was there. I think I was making an omelet, and I got a vibration on my phone, and it just said, "Congrats, you've made a sale." And I think it was $1, right? But the amount of money didn't matter. It might as well have been $1 million, because that was the proof. Okay, this hard work I've done up to now, it is paying off. Just because I hadn't seen results up until this moment, it doesn't mean it was going to waste. And then you can see a lot of ups and downs. But by mid 2021, my TPT store had actually had its first month where it made more than $1,000. And the work I did, the resources I created and uploaded that actually made that $1,000, a lot of that work was done during my valley of disappointment, where I didn't actually see any tangible results. So I want to be really real with you guys. I know there's a lot of passive income, it's a very attractive concept, make money in your sleep, and it's a really, really cool thing. But I want to be totally upfront about the expectations. Yes, it can be really cool. Yes, it can be so rewarding, but there is a period of hard work upfront. But when you do that work, when you can push through your valley of disappointment, it's the people who can keep going. They're the people who can see those longer term results. So if that makes sense, if you're still with me, just give me a yes in the chat. Cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah, some of the comments. I know the money stuff can be a little bit taboo, but I think it's important. I want to be really transparent with you, so you can have an idea what to expect, what's possible, and that can help you make a determination whether this is something you want to pursue or not. So, in terms of getting started with this, the first thing we need to decide is what type of resources do you want to sell to other teachers? What type of resources are you going to create? So there are three questions I'm going to throw out there. And I think in terms of finding the sweet spot, your answers to these questions are gonna help you. And the first question is, what are you good at? So think about if you work in a school, think about what topics do the other teachers in the staff room, what do they ask you about? What do they ask for your help with? What lessons do your students respond particularly well to? So this is the starting point. What are you good at? The next question you want to ask yourself, of course, this is really important. What lights you up? In other words, what are you passionate about? What do you actually feel excited about creating and sharing and providing, offering, selling to other teachers? So, you don't want to build a business around creating resources that, you find very boring. And the final question, and this is a question we've got to ask ourselves anytime we're thinking about having a business, what is there a need for? Okay, so what problems can you solve with your resources? What do other teachers out there have a desire for? So the sweet spot, it lies in the intersection between these three questions: what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what other teachers have a need, have a desire for. And this isn't necessarily a decision you're going to come to overnight, but in terms of choosing which area to pursue, it's very important you're able to answer yes to these three questions. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later when I share some of my own mistakes with you. So I want to give you some ideas about the types of resources you can create. Well, actually, before I do that, throw in the chat any ideas, any types of resources you can create. Let me know if you've got any ideas. Yeah, I'm seeing gamifying, yeah, Jason says games, Maya short stories. Brilliant, really good ideas. Jesse says PDFs. Um, yeah, PowerPoint lessons. Yeah, Debbie says videos, checklists. Yeah, fantastic ideas. And actually, one of you guys had yeah, you mentioned my favorite type of resource, which is slides. Now, there's a number of reasons why this is my favorite type of resource to create, but I think the biggest reason is, when you're in the classroom, you photocopy something, or your students have the textbook, it's very difficult to control what our students are actually paying attention to, right? Our learners, they can read ahead, they can turn the page. It's very difficult to focus their attention. But when we create slides, when we create lessons, we can clearly manage that flow of information. And each lesson, it can actually take our learners on a journey. And of course, if you're providing these resources for other teachers, which you most likely will be, it makes it very easy for the other teacher too, because they just need to click the mouse and the next piece of information appears. So yeah, slides are my personal favorite for that reason. Before I give you some other possibilities here, I want to talk a little bit about copyright. So you can probably see these images, these are in slides in a curriculum I created. Now, a lot of teachers ask me, okay, what about copyright? How do I know which images I can use? Is it okay to sell these images? So has anyone heard of Canva, the app? Let me know. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it for sure. I think Canva is a great app because there are thousands of images you've got there. Now, if you're paying for the premium version of Canva, which I think depends on the region you're based in, but I think it's usually around $10. Once you pay for the premium version of Canva, you have permission to use all of those images in resources you create and can sell. So you don't have to worry about any copyright violations there. So I think that's a big advantage. Any resource you take from Canva, as long as you're paying for the premium version of Canva, you have permission to include those images in your resources and sell those resources. So that can kind of wipe out that concern for you. All right, some other popular ideas. Now, these aren't my resources, but these are some resources that are performing really, really well out there. And I just want to show you, give you some examples so it can help spark your own ideas. So here are some flashcards. You can see these are designed for learners with autism. So, you know, a really good niche here. And in terms of seeing how successful it is, well, you can see this product has received 642 reviews. And what that actually means is at least 642 people have purchased this product. You can see it's selling for $5. So this person made pretty good amount of money with this. We can see there's clearly a desire for this type of resource. Games, a few of you mentioned this in the chat. Games can perform really well. So this is a digital math game, some sort of really creative resource. I thought this was really cool, so I wanted to share it. But you can see here 783 ratings, selling for 750 per resource. So again, this creator saw a really good return on this resource. You can create worksheets. This is something a few of you mentioned too. 11,000 reviews. So yeah, can give you an idea of what's possible out there when you find resources that there is a strong need, a strong desire for. And yeah, another direction you can go. Maybe you prefer creating things for the teachers. So teaching guides, teaching organizers. So if you're a teacher trainer, for example, there's a strong demand for teacher training resources too, or resources that make life easier for the teacher, not necessarily just lesson plans. So this was a system someone created to help teachers quickly grade their essays, and a really clever piece of marketing here. Reclaim your weekends, right? It kind of, they make that emotional connection there. So you can see this did really well as well. So these are just a few ideas of what's possible out there. And the reason I show you this is when you're trying to figure out what to do yourself, it's always a good idea. Have a look at what has already been successful. You know, don't copy it exactly, but this will give you a good idea of what there might be a market for. And then you can figure out how you can put your own unique stamp, your own creativity, your own ideas onto that. So yeah, how's everybody doing so far? Let me check in at this point. I'm gonna check the time too, because I know we're under a bit of pressure here. Some really good questions there as well. I'm gonna do my best to answer as many as possible. Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Awesome. All right. Cool. So I want to talk a bit about marketing now. And if you take anything away from this presentation today, from these 30 minutes, what I'm going to share with you next, I think will be the number one most valuable thing. So I want to give you an example of what you shouldn't do first. So this is a post I came across just in a Facebook group for teachers. I want to show you the example, and I want you guys to let me know in the chat, do you see anything wrong with this example? And do you think this post got a good response or not? Let me know your ideas in the chat. Let me know what you think. How do you think this post performed? Do you see anything potentially wrong with it? Okay, a few ideas. Someone says too much text. Someone asked me to enlarge it. So yeah, I guess that's related. The reason I have to have it this size, I can't actually fit it in the slides if I make it any bigger. Someone said too many words. Yeah, yeah. Really good ideas. I think my main concern with this when I come across posts like this online is feels a lot like this, right? Feels like this person is coming across very promotional. They're shouting at me, they're shouting at the entire room. And the key point here is the key takeaway is yelling isn't selling, right? And the answer is this post didn't perform very well. I think it was in the group for about 6 months, and there might have been one comment underneath it when I came across it. So what should we do instead? Well, to be able to sell to someone, we first have to identify whether or not this person is actually interested in what we're offering, right? So, how can we do this? Instead of just sending a message out to a huge room with thousands of people and trying to sell to everybody and probably annoying a lot of people, how can we first figure out who might be interested in what we're offering? Well, we can do something called a hand raiser. And let me give you an example of what these can look like. And my number one favorite way to do this is by offering something free first. And in terms of figuring out what free thing you can offer, the best way to view it is think of your free thing as one slice of the cake, right? Your paid thing is the full cake. Your free thing is going to be one complete slice of that cake. So if your paid thing, for example, is 20 games for young ESL learners that you can add to your lessons, your free thing might be one of those games, right? And the cool thing is, what do we know? If people say, yeah, I'd love to check out that free thing, what can we learn from that? Is this someone who might also be interested in the paid thing, or will they have no interest in the paid thing? Of course. Yeah, as long as the free thing is related to the paid thing, then absolutely. You know, okay, if you want this free thing, you might also be interested in the paid thing. So let me give you some examples, right? And the key principle we're going to follow here, we're going to be giving in public and we're going to do our selling privately. And we're going to use this giving to identify people who might be interested in what we have to offer. So this is a post I made just a few days ago. And what I created was I created some templates online teachers can use in their posts in the first 1 or 2 lines of their content to attract more attention for students who might be interested in what they're offering. So you can contrast this to the other post I showed you. Simple, the benefit is pretty obvious, and within a few days, it got over 300 comments of people saying they're interested. And you can use this exact same principle. I've done it in many different situations for many different products. In this case, I offer people the opportunity to get some free online lessons to see if they're interested in more teaching material. And this was a recording of a social media workshop I put together too. So, okay, if someone is interested in learning how to market on social media, they might also be interested in going more in depth with training around this. So these are examples of hand raisers. These are how this method is how we can identify people who might be interested in what we've got to offer. All right. Yeah, clear and concise. Yeah, perfect. All right. So once we've identified who might be interested, oh, before I go there, actually, another example is on Facebook. There are lots of groups out there, for teachers, for resources. You can keep an eye, you can have a look at comments. So in this case, this person left a comment in the group saying, I'm looking for a course or curriculum to teach business English to adults. Does anyone know any curriculums? So I saw this, I left a comment and I said, hi, name. I've created a business English curriculum that other teachers can use with their B1, B2 level learners. If you'd like to take a look, just let me know. Happy to send you over a preview and you can decide whether or not it's useful. So again, giving in public, and then I can have a private conversation to see whether or not this is something they are interested with. And you can see after this comment, a lot of other teachers responded asking for it too. So a far more effective method than super long, blocky promotional posts. So we've gotten people to raise their hands. We've identified people who might be interested in what we've created. Now the next step is we want to close sales privately, and we can do this in the DMs, in the direct messages. And there's a 3-step formula you can follow to do this. Now, the first step is always going to be get permission before you drop a sales pitch. So you always want to ask someone's permission. Hey, I have this thing. It goes more in depth. It has more lessons. Is this something you might be interested in? I'd be happy to give you all of the details here. Ask a question before dropping a sales pitch at someone. If they give you the green light, you can share a preview. And a final step, you can use urgency and scarcity to incentivize people to take action. And the reason I mentioned the word legitimate here, it's really, really important. Urgency and scarcity get a very bad reputation. So urgency is limited time, scarcity is limited availability. You see them all the time, but the problem is a lot of people use them dishonestly, right? You see these countdown timers, 3 hours left, for example, and then you go back 3 days later and there's still 3 hours left. So my advice is, yes, use urgency, yes, use scarcity because they work, but always use them ethically. Give a legitimate reason why. So, hey, as a thank you, I've set up an extra discount. This is for the first 5 people who decide to invest in the resource. Here's the code, right? That's how you can incentivize. One example of a way you could incentivize people to take action. Now, one extra tip for your previews. This is a gentleman called Claude Hopkins, right? And if you don't recognize him, don't worry. He wrote a book a long, long time ago, back in the 1940s, called Scientific Advertising. And when I was learning about marketing, this was one of the books I read, and there was something really useful in this book that he said, a quote, and this is it here. Claude Hopkins said, no argument in the world can ever compare to one dramatic demonstration. No argument in the world can ever compare to one dramatic demonstration. So I've got a question for you, right? How can we take this quote? How can we take this principle? And how can you apply it to sell more educational resources? And I want you to think about the type of previews you share with the people who might be interested. That's in the chat. Yeah, provide an example. Well, what an example? Could it be a long description where you say, here's everything included? Or what if we shared a video and we said, hey, here's what the resource looks like in action, right? I think it's really the show, don't tell principle. And this is something when I started doing with my resources, it made a huge difference in terms of my sales. So this is a video I just put together that shows my curriculum, for example, right? So you can actually see when I share it with teachers, they can see what it looks like. They can see what's included. They can get a feel for the material and they can get a feel for what it could be like when they actually use it with their learners. And this is an extremely effective method. I just needed to do a screen recording on my laptop, kind of like now, and just go through the slides. And yeah, it's something all of you guys can do too in your resources. And yeah, it's no coincidence my two most popular resources ever, the ones that made the most sales, were the ones I created the video previews for. Now, of course, later I created video previews for all of my resources once I realized how effective it is. Okay, let me check in. I know we're super pushed for time. I'm also going to check in with James just to see how we are how we're doing. Yeah, great stuff. So someone says yes, a video, love it. Okay, a lot of great questions in the chat. Let me see. James, are we all good? Do we have a couple of minutes? Should I wrap this up? I know we're coming up on the half hour. Okay, let me wrap this up. I want to just give you some tips around pricing your resources because this is something I get asked about a lot. And there are a couple of options out there. You can charge per page or per slide included in your resource. You can try to be the lowest price, right? You can try to undercut your competitors, or you can choose a price based on how long it actually took you to create the resource. But I believe there's something wrong with all of these options. Maybe you guys, maybe you can let me know. Maybe you can see a problem with these options. And yeah, let me know. Anyone see anything wrong with choosing these methods of pricing? Yeah, yeah. Jade says variability. Well, there are a couple of problems. First of all, if we charge per page or per slide, well, not all pages, not all slides are created equal, right? One slide could just be an image, one slide could be a lot of text. We never want to be the lowest price because we don't want to undervalue yourselves and join that race to the bottom. And if you charge based on how long you spend creating the resource, the problem with that is your buyers don't actually care that much. They're not that interested in how much time you spend. What they're really interested in is how much time your resource will actually save them. So my advice for determining the prices of your resource is set a price based on the value to your consumer. All right. Think about, okay, how much time, stress, and energy will this resource save my consumer? Okay. How much value does this provide to them? And then use that to determine an effective price. All right. I do also want to share some mistakes with you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So let me just finish with this. I think the most important thing about all of this is never, ever, ever be afraid to make mistakes with this. You will make mistakes if you do this. And yeah, I'm an Irishman. I thought I'd finish with a quote from another Irishman. This is Samuel Beckett. Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. And I think the big lesson here, the big takeaway here is it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, the people who are probably the furthest along in this journey have made the most mistakes. As long as you extract a lesson from your mistakes, then each one, it actually moves you closer to your goals and not further away. So yeah, guys, we're under a bit of pressure here. I've already gone over time. thank you so much for your attention. I hope you got something of value here, and yeah, amazing work. There are some great speakers coming up. So yeah, I'll pass this over. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Awesome.
All right, so we should have given you more time, Robbie. Sorry about
Uh,
that. Sorry about
I
that.
always,
Yeah,
any of the guys here who know me, they know I always try
yeah.
to squeeze as much
Please,
in as
please
possible.
share
So
share your LinkedIn and the Facebook with the audience so they can follow you on social media. So Robbie
for
works
sure.
with us as the marketing expert on the team and also our CMO, Chief Marketing Officer on Bowie Strategy. So we're gonna definitely have him back in more sessions in the future, and everything shared today was really valuable, Robbie, and really appreciate that. Yeah, so if you want to stay on the panel list for a few more minutes, you see the Q&As on the bottom of your window. There's some questions might be for you if you want to tap in and answer these questions. That would
I'll
be
do my best. There are so many
okay.
amazing questions. Yeah, I was going through the presentation. I was like, I'd love to stop, but yeah.
For now,
So
that will be on the bottom. You see the Q&A. There's a specific area on your window. There's says Q&A. So that's the
yeah,
question.
yeah,
Yeah. Now the questions in the comment. There's too many. Just these questions we can answer them. All right. So I'm
sure,
gonna have to move on now. And feel free to turn off your video and audio, Robbie. I'll just let you
sure.
stay on the panelist for a little bit longer. And
Awesome.
next,
Thanks so much,
yeah,
everyone.
sorry. Hey, bye, Robbie. Thank you, thank you. So next, we're gonna get Kelly here. Okay, Kelly, sorry for being late for 5 minutes. Let me get you to the panelist. You're gonna receive a notification and click on yes, and you will jump on to the live here. Okay. Hey, Kelly. Hello, hello, hello,
Hello. Hi,
hello.
James. Hi, everybody.
Hey, I already give you time. I know you have to run at 30, is that right? Or can you be late for a few minutes?
We can be
Or
late for a few minutes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You can
I'll
chat for a
let
bit if you
you.
like.
Yeah, I'll let you stay for maybe 5 more minutes until the end if you want to. Just because we were late for 5 minutes, it's fine. All right. Okay, I'm gonna just pass it to you, Kelly. All right. So
Okay, just to check. Oh, yeah, I've got it.
yeah,
Share.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I'll spotlight
Hey,
you.
thank
I think
you.
and try the screen sharing. Do you know how to do that? Okay.
I
Yeah,
do.
it's coming through.
Wait for it to load up.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Kelly, thank you. Good luck, okay?
Thanks. Can you see my screen? Yeah, we've got it. Okay, here we go. Hi everybody. As James said, my name's Callie, and I am the founder of Primary Tutor Project, which is an online tuition company based here in the UK. We specialise in primary education for children all around the world. So we work a lot with kids in the UK, but also internationally too. Um, so James has kindly invited me to speak to you all today more as like a case study. So sort of talking about my journey from being a teacher to running a tutoring business, the journey that I've followed and sort of some tips and advice that I've picked up along the way and want to share with you all. So I work with quite a lot of teachers at the moment who sort of supporting them into transitioning into the world of online tuition, also transitioning into the world of teaching ESL tuition. A lot of the teachers that I work with are primary school teachers and want to transform into a tutor, and often they don't have the background knowledge of teaching English as a second language. So that's something that we do together too. So I'm going to start off with talking about my journey and some top tips, and then I'm going to save some time at the end for some questions. So please ask away. I'm a bit rubbish with these webinar type things, so I'll check the questions at the end. So my journey. So my background is in teaching. So I used to be a primary school teacher in London. I loved teaching. I loved being in the classroom, working with the children, but the admin side of it, the sort of pressures that you're under as a classroom teacher, weren't for me. So I was always looking elsewhere, like what else could I do in my career so that I could focus on doing what I loved, but without all of the stress. So for a while, and in between sort of teaching in London, I taught internationally. So I taught over in South America, in Colombia. I also taught in Asia, in Japan. And that was amazing. I learned loads about teaching English as a second language and having a more flexible lifestyle, I guess. But that all came to a head during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, I had to come back to the UK. I was very unsure about going back into the classroom or how long it would all go on for. So that's when I turned my hand to tutoring. So to begin with, I started out as just an online independent tutor. It was always a bit of a stopgap activity, so I didn't take it so seriously to begin with as a business. And I always worked with other agencies, so as sort of subcontracting for other agencies based in the UK and internationally. And I think I hit the tuition world at a really good time during the pandemic, because that's when the world of online tuition was really exploding. There was such a huge demand for it, and it sort of changed the way that we could work as teachers and tutors. So I sort of carried on doing that for a few years. I then, when things opened up again, travelled as a tutor. So I was a bit of a, I suppose that, what do they call them? The nomad, yeah, a digital nomad for a while, enjoying traveling and the lifestyle that it was able to offer me. And with that, I realized, okay, this could actually be a serious business. This could be a serious career. And it was then that I decided to set up my own business as well. So that's where Primary Tutor Project began. It started off with just me working as a tutor, and I really gradually transformed from working with agents to having my own clients. And that process did take a couple of years to get to a stage where everything was 100% my own students. And then it continued to expand, and I continued to get so many inquiries. So I then decided to establish an agency. So I began with just one other tutor that was working alongside me to take on the inquiries that I couldn't handle. And over the next couple of years, we have grown to a team of 15 tutors. So we still specialise in primary education. All of the other tutors are also primary school teachers. And we have over 150 students now on our books. And we tutor in 14 countries around the world. So yeah, so sort of the progress that the business has taken in 4 years has been a very proud achievement for me. I'm really proud of where we've got to. And just last weekend, I was at the National Tutoring Awards in London, which is run by the Tutors Association here in the UK. And my business was shortlisted for one of the categories that I was up against sort of some huge players in industry. So yeah, a really proud achievement. So I feel like the end of this school year has been a good one. So yeah, that's my journey so far. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katie, for the congratulations. So how did I get from sort of taking tutoring as not a very serious thing to having a award shortlisted agency? So my first top tip is all about finding your niche. I see so many tutors out there sort of offering so many different services and trying to offer everything. And I don't think that really works. I think you have to specialize and find your niche, because then that's the thing that you become known for. You become the expert, and that's the thing that's going to attract clients, and that's what's going to make you popular. So when it came to finding my niche, obviously I've had this background in primary education, background as an ESL tutor, so that kind of formed my direction. But I realized along the way, and through many mistakes of working far too many hours and weekends, that you have to kind of lay out what you want from it. And it's about what you want, not always just thinking, what does everybody else out there want from me? So what do you want to teach? And as a primary teacher, I obviously taught all subjects at school. but I didn't want to tutor all of those subjects. I wanted to focus on the things that I love the most, and that tended to be English. So I focused on primary English tuition. When do you want to teach it? Now, this is a big thing and a big mistake that I made. I just initially took everything that I possibly could. And that meant that I was teaching 6 days a week, from first thing in the morning to last thing in the evening. And it just became completely unsustainable. And I think if from the outset, if I'd set out a plan of when I wanted to teach, that would have, made the first couple of years in business a bit easier for me. So when you're thinking about when you want to teach, a lot of tutors that I work with are parents and can't tutor weekends and after school. So they often can want to tutor in the morning, and that's quite a lucrative time that everybody wants to tutor during the daytime. So then in that case, focus your attentions towards Asia, because in the UK, that's our morning time. If early afternoons work for you, then focus your attention on the Middle East. So figuring out when you want to teach helps you narrow down your niche of which market you should be focusing on and targeting. You're only one person, you can't do everything. Then once you've figured that out, figure out, is there the demand there? So if you figure out that you want to teach in Asia and you want to teach science, what are other people doing? If there's other people out there selling that service, then there's a market there for it. And then finally, how do you want to teach it? So I know today is a lot about setting up an online business, and that's what I've done. But that's not for everyone. And also, once you've gone through these other steps, you might realize that actually the market exists in your local town, and you don't have to go through the strifes of setting everything up online, because there is a lot more to it than just tutoring in your local town. And I mean, Robbie was talking about this as well. Do your market research. Like, once you've figured out what you want to teach and how you want to teach it, it's all about figuring out who else is out there. What are other people doing? What are other people offering? It's a competitive market, but there is so much opportunity and potential out there. There are so many students. It's a growing market. So I think that there's something for everyone out there. If you just look on the SuperProf website, you can tutor anything. So my second point was about replacing your teacher income. I'd like to know, actually, I'd like to ask everybody, are there any teachers here who are just teachers and haven't yet set up their own online business, or are thinking about setting up their online business, thinking about going into the world of tuition? A few of you out there, great. Yeah, so this one is kind of for you. Because I know that a lot of teachers really worry, and quite rightly so, about how you're going to replace your teaching income. And you know, it feels like a huge risk. We've all got bills to pay. Like, this has to be your priority realistically when you're venturing into the world of tuition or whatever business it might be. So when it comes to this, I always think about, first of all, managing your expectations. There's so much out there on social media where people are selling you this vision of, you know, quit your job and start this up and your life's going to be really easy and you can set this up online business and travel the world and you'll earn loads of money. Realistically, that's only going to happen to a very small percentage of people. I think, you know, check into what is realistic and manage your expectations of what it's going to look like for you. And that sort of comes hand in hand with like determining what the risk is for you. So, you know, start off from this baseline level of what is the income that you have to be able to pay your bills each month. If you're starting up an online tuition business, how many hours of tuition or how many units of group tuition would you have to sell to achieve that income? And start off with determining the risk of that. You know, if to realistically sell or make enough money to cover your monthly rent, you're going to have to be working 100 hours of tuition. Don't quit your job and just start tutoring, because it takes time to build that up. So having a really clear plan in your mind of like, what is the income that I need to achieve and how am I going to achieve that? How much do I need to sell to achieve that is like the ground level before you think about leaving the classroom. And then once you've made that decision to leave the classroom, set yourself up with a plan. Realistically, setting up your own tutoring business and not working with other people, that's going to take time to build up. You're not going to be replacing your teacher income potentially in the first year. You might if you're lucky and things work well, but probably not. So I always talk to teachers about how you can diversify your income in the interim before you become an agency owner. And there's so many different ways that you can do this that aren't just about your own teaching. So one factor is going to be your own business. Starting up your own business straight away, just give it a go. You don't need much to begin as an online tutor. It's a low risk business in terms of how businesses are. You don't have to invest much. You can set up a Facebook page and start advertising in your local towns groups straight away. Don't think too much about it, just do it. Perhaps to supplement that, you might choose, if you're sick of the classroom, as I know a lot of people are, choose to work in something completely different alongside that whilst you're building up your tutoring business, whatever that might be for you. In the UK, there's a huge demand for supply teachers. I'm not sure what that's called over in the US. I know there's a lot of listeners in the US and internationally, but supply teaching is a really great way to supplement your income whilst you're building your business. Substitute teaching, thanks, Jessie. And then part-time teaching. So a lot of the tutors that work from my business, they are self-employed tutors, but they also still teach part-time in school. And they're doing that in the interim whilst they build up their agency work and their own businesses in tandem. So that's a really another great option to be able to do. And then it comes to agencies. So are there many people in the group who are tutoring already, but are working just for other agents, other businesses? Yeah, a few of you. So I think agencies, that's obviously the route that I went down when I first started tutoring. I was 100% working for other agencies. I went through a few bad ones and I went through a few great ones. You know, it's an unregulated industry. There are any amount of agencies that you could work for all around the world, from small organizations like my own to like the huge big guys teaching ESL in China. Some of them got closed down, but you know what I mean. So agencies are a really great route to take. It's what I did. I was able to fill up my teaching schedule beyond belief within about 6 months, to the point where I couldn't handle any more teaching hours. So agencies, I think, if you find the right ones, are a really great avenue to go down if you're looking at leaving the classroom and want to start tutoring for a number of reasons. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about this because obviously I now run an agency, so I can sort of see it from that perspective. And also I've worked for agencies, so I've experienced how to build your tutoring business whilst working for agents. So for me, it was a way to hit the ground running when I started tutoring. Working with agents was a really great way to experience what the tutoring world was like, figure out how I was going to teach online, and also like learn a bit more about the behind the scenes of running a tutoring business. Something that you don't get if you're just having a go on your own. You don't get this behind the scenes. How do their payments work? How do they liaise with clients? How does the sort of all the behind the scenes admin work? You get a bit of an insight into that, which you can learn from and then use when you go into running your own business. So what else did I want to say about agents? Yeah, again, it's that idea about finding the right agents. When you find the right ones, they can be fantastic. When you find the wrong ones, it can be a headache. But the benefit of being self-employed you're not normally contracted into having to stick with them. It's not like getting a actual job where you have to give sufficient notice and stuff. If you find a bad egg, then you can get out of there straight away. So a few questions that I've been asked by teachers who are looking to work with tutoring agents is, first of all, where to find them, also how to find the good ones. So I really recommend getting on as many different tutoring Facebook groups as you can. And by that, I mean the ones where, like James's group, where it's all about tutors working together, and ask on there, like speak to people to find out some recommendations for good agencies. Also look at Facebook groups and LinkedIn for agencies who are advertising for tutors. That's where I advertise for tutors. You see posts from people asking for a specific subject, often that it's an agent behind the laptop, it's not the parent themselves. Also, LinkedIn is a really good place to find other agents and network with other tutoring businesses. So if you haven't already, start establishing your LinkedIn profile and your Facebook profile as a professional one so that you can interact with these different agents. So another side is like how to approach these agents. I would say that about 90% of the tutors I've recruited over the last few years have come through because they've emailed me directly. Even if I didn't have a position for them at that moment, I've kept their CV on record, and if I like the sound of them, set up an interview from there. So scour all the Facebook ads that are out there, find agencies that sound like they are in keeping with your values and what you want to teach, and approach directly. The amount of emails that I also get from people applying to be tutors, where it's just hi, here's my CV, have you got any tutoring opportunities? It's like basic applying for jobs stuff that I think some people maybe forget. When I get an email where someone has clearly researched Primary Tutor Project, knows who I am, knows to call me Callie in the email, and shows why they're interested in working with me, shows their CV, their availability, and what they want to teach, those are the CVs that I'm going to keep on record. So think about how you're approaching people too, and approach lots of them. As a self-employed tutor, you aren't contracted to just tutor with one agency. There's, generally speaking, you might need to provide a minimum number of hours a week, but you're not contracted into that. You can say no to the tutoring if it doesn't work for you as a self-employed tutor. So approach loads of them, try and sign up with as many different agencies, from small agencies to large agencies, to figure out who you like working with and who's going to offer you the work. Whenever tutors start working with me, if it's their first time tutoring and they're looking to fill up a lot of hours, I always recommend my other, like the competitors that I'm working, that I know in industry are doing a great job. I recommend that they go and sign up with them as well, because that's the way that they're going to fill their hours the fastest. So yeah, that's working with agents. Does anyone have any questions about working with agents or agencies? So Gladia said, how do you determine the quality of an agency? I feel like recommendations and reviews is a big one. They should have an online profile where they have reviews from clients. I think that good reviews from clients mean that they're doing a good job and their tutors are happy. So that's a place to start. And then recommendations. When you're on the different Facebook tutoring networks, ask does anyone have any recommendations for agents to work with? Because the tutoring industry is a really friendly one. I found that it's more about it feels like you're working with colleagues in industry rather than competitors. So everyone's out there to help you. So ask away. And then another question from Barbara was, is it mostly self-employed or PAYE, payment by agencies? It varies, but for the majority, particularly for online, it's self-employed. So you're contracted in, which is great, because you have a lot more autonomy over how you teach. You have autonomy over what you take on tutoring wise, and you're not tied into a contract with them if they turn out to be a bad egg. So yes, I hope that answers your question. And then Brandon asked a question. I'm okay for time, haven't checked. Yeah. Brandon asked a question about assuming certain agencies have certain niches, how are they serving? How do I nail down which agencies best fit with my experiences and abilities? That's a good question as well. So it's obviously about what services they're offering. So for example, if you want to teach science, approach agencies that offer that on their services. You're always going to get called to an interview before you start teaching with them, and use that interview to ask them as many questions as you want. Interview them as well, work out what they're offering, how they expect teachers to teach, what their expectation is of you, and if their values align with you. To be honest, most of my interviews are just chats, because I tend to like to see tutors in action rather than questioning them on their background and abilities. You know, everyone's coming to me as a qualified teacher, so I know they can teach. It's more about if our personalities align. So I will come to other questions at the end. I'll type in the chat. I'm just conscious of time. So that's some tips about working with agencies. And then the next step that I took in business was then developing my own business. This is something that I definitely don't have enough time to talk about today. There are gazillions of business advice, workshops and mentoring and all sorts of things that will teach you more about this. I just wanted to show you a few snippets of maybe my top tips and things that worked for me for going from working with agencies to having 100% of my own private work. So I started out at about 90% working through agencies, and about 10% of it was my own stuff, and that was generally through people I knew. And now, of course, I'm running an agency, so it's 100% our own private work. And to be honest, that took a lot of hard work and determination to get to that stage. It took a few years of gradually weaning myself off the agencies until I'd filled my books. In that time, there were crossovers. So there were times where I couldn't finish with my agency students. You don't just want to drop a student, you know. But then I'd got a few more private work, so I was working way more hours than I wanted to. But I've eventually got to a place where now I'm still teaching. I teach 3 days a week, and sort of like more on a part-time basis. And you know, it's the perfect schedule for me now. So, but it took a long time to get to that stage. So just some tips of things that have worked for me to get to this stage. Something big that I've learned is about not just advertising I'm an English tutor and I'm offering tuition for 25 quid an hour or whatever it is that you're charging. Talk about and really think about what are the benefits of your service, what are the clients, what are the students getting out of it, and focus your attention on that, because that's the thing that people are going to pay for. When I started out, I completely undersold my services and I was charging way too little, as I'm sure a lot of people in this webinar probably have experienced or are experiencing now. And it was because I was like, right, I offer maths and English tuition. This is my service. These are the times that I'm available. Changing my mindset to thinking more about outcomes for the teachers, the outcomes for the students. So whether that was, I am able to increase your English grade from a 6 to a 7, or I am able to boost your child's confidence. Whatever it is, focus on the outcome of your service, and also find social proof to back that up. What I mean by that is, that's what you talk about. This is the benefit that you offer, but you need social proof to back it up through the form of reviews. If you're just starting out and you don't have any of your own students, you can get reviews from the agents that you work for. I give my tutors reviews on their Google profiles for their own businesses as well. So ask if you're working for an agent if they'll do that for you. So that's the first sort of takeaway that I have found has benefited me in transition to private work. And then the second part of that is about defining your marketing strategy. How are you getting yourself in front of the clients that you want to work with? Where are those parents hanging out online? And focus your attention on that. As a solopreneur, your time is so limited. You want to be spending more of your time planning and delivering amazing lessons than spending hours trawling social media. So being really specific about how you're going to target your audience is really important, because you can't do everything at once. So yeah, that's that. And then finally, using your network, people power. Like, I've found the power of networking incredible over the last couple of years, whether that be when you're starting out with your own new Facebook profile and Facebook ad for your tutoring business, using all of your contacts, speaking to people, approaching people within your contact network to tell them about what you're doing. Approaching people directly that way is a really good way to start out. Also, networking with other tutors, getting yourself out there, getting your face out there, and getting yourself known is really valuable. I work with a lot of tutors, sort of doing like peer-to-peer mentoring. So it's not paid for or anything. We just we're competitors technically, but we work together to decide to work through all of the challenges that you face in business. So finding your peers is really a top tip. As I said before, the tutoring industry is so friendly. Speaking to people is guaranteed to help you on your way to private work. And don't be afraid to invest. You know, it's hard to know when to invest as a business owner and when to make the decision to pay for services, but recognizing that earlier on would have saved me a lot of hassle. So for example, now I'm paying somebody to help me with my social media, because that is not one of my fortes, and that has just saved me so much time and so much hassle, and is at the end of the day paying off dividends, because it's getting me more clients in the door. So using your network and knowing when to pay for others' services. So I feel like I've really rushed through all of that, but I will stick around and answer anyone's questions. So for me, I'm really excited about the future for Primary Tutor Project. You know, we're still quite a small company, still sort of making my way through the world of business and learning so much as I go. We've got lots of exciting new services launching in September that I've been working on. I'm also running some training for teachers who want to skill up to teach ESL. That's starting later this year. So please give me a follow on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'll send the links in the chat. Drop me an email. And like I said, people power, like network. Drop me an email, say hi. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, everybody. Hope I've perhaps answered a few questions about how a tutor has done it. James.
Hey. Hi, Kelly.
I feel like I zoomed through that. I had way too much to say.
No worries. Yeah, so you want to stop sharing, and I just want to thank you for your time, Kelly, and for everyone. Yes, it's just kind of a quick introduction of all the possibilities, all the opportunities for teachers. That's why we didn't save a lot of time for Kelly, and we're gonna collaborate a little bit more in the future. And I will share the link I had to the interview I did with Kelly if you guys want to learn more. And we had a lot of good discussion there too. And Kelly just won a word, right? An award, something like that.
Yes,
You know what
yeah,
it
the
is, but
tutoring awards.
the teaching award. That's so
Shortlisted.
cool. That's so cool. And just congrats you on all the achievements, everything you've got. You know, in the
Thank
past
you.
few years, it's hard journey, but you did it, and I know a lot of teachers in the audience right now can do the same. and hopefully we can to collaborate together in the future to create something to better help the teachers. Yeah, thank you
Yes.
again here, Kelly. Yeah, so if you can stay around for a little bit more to answer questions. And do you see the Q&A feature on the bottom, the 13?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can check if there are questions that for you, just type answer them. And once you're done, like if you don't have to stay once you finish. If you want to leave, you can already leave. I know you're busy. Okay. All right. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, thank you very much, Kelly. And yeah, and share your social media links in the chat, please, too, just to let teachers follow you. All right, so what I'm gonna do is now, let me just spotlight myself, I guess. Let's spotlight myself. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next stage, the panel. Okay, who are excited about the panel? I guess, comment in the chat if you're excited about the panel. Steffi, Cindy. All right, let me just check if everyone's here. What I'm gonna do is I will invite them one by one to the live, and some of the guests have to leave early, so I'm gonna let them go first. All right, and then we'll have all the 5 teachers here. Hopefully everyone's here. So I'm gonna start with Richard, and then Meredith next. Meredith here. Yeah, Meredith here. Meredith's gonna be the next. Okay, Richard go first. I'm gonna bring you here, Richard, to the live. Just click on yes. All right, yes. Hey Richard, can you? Yep. Good.
There we
So I'm
go.
gonna
Hello, can
spotlight
you
you
hear me?
too. Spotlight. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
perfect.
Richard.
Great.
You look different today. But anyways, okay. So what we're gonna do is I'll give you 1 minute. All right, 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then I'll bring the next one, and then I'll ask other questions. Okay. So just introduce yourself very quickly in 1 minute if you can. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Richard Dalton. I coach professionals who face speaking anxiety as the main thing that's holding them back in their careers. So I do a combination of professional business English language training with professional coaching, mindset coaching, confidence coaching. So that's my business is called Big World English. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask you more questions. Okay. All right. So that's Richard. I'm gonna go with the Meredith. Meredith. So click on yes if you see a notification inviting you to the panel. And yeah, she's coming. And Meredith is traveling in New York right now, so she has to join us at a cafe or a coffee place, I think. Meredith, not here. Let me try again. Promote to panelist. I think there's a notification somewhere. I know you are using your phone. I'll try to click on that. Steffi said, but James saying you look different. He must have meant you look great. Yes, exactly. That's what I meant, Richard. You look great. Okay. All right, Meredith,
Thank you,
I'm not
Steffi.
seeing you. So you can send me a message or something's there. I will move on to the next one. Meredith declined. Okay, Meredith declined. Let me try one more time. And then I will also let me try Simone in the meantime, okay? Hello, Richard. Are these discussions held every day? No, we're trying to do monthly, but not every day. All right, Simone, while we're waiting for Meredith, same thing here, 1 minute. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Simone Brown, and I am keeping calm and carrying on. Can you see that?
Yep.
Steffi gave me that.
Oh, cool.
And I also wanted to say hi to Gloria. I saw that she was, one of the participants, and we're like almost neighbors, Gloria. Oh my gosh, we're very close. You're in Prairie View, and I'm in Somerville, so Texas. Anyway, James knows I'm going to go off script, guys, so it's all right. So my name is Simone Brown. I always say I am James's oldest client, but not in age, right? And I coach international medical professionals who are coming to the United States for their graduate medical education. So I coach them with the application, which I'm hot and heavy in right now, interview skills, cross-cultural communication. Rachel got me started with that and other things, but I love my niche and I love being a teacher entrepreneur, and I love the Bowie team.
Thank you, Simone. All right, trying to figure out the problem with Meredith. But anyways, we have Rachel here. All right, Rachel, let me add spotlight. Okay, Rachel, yeah, 1 minute, please go. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going. So I am Rachel. I'm from the UK, and I started my business when I lived with my family in Denmark, but I'm back in the UK now. So yeah, I work with international medical and health professionals that have come to work in the UK. I'm not a teacher. I don't teach English. I teach cross-cultural communication skills. I teach a lot about culture. Started off with one-to-one coaching, and now I'm running a membership. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
All right, cool.
Was that
Rachel.
enough? Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A section, okay? Not the chat, because there's so many chats, we won't be able to find it. There's a Q&A section. Ask questions. If you have specific questions for specific panelists, please do that. We have another 2 guests, but I'm having problem to get them on to the panelist. All right, and Martin Johnson declined. All right, okay. It just says connecting. Anyways, okay. So what we're gonna do, hopefully we can figure out the problem. Because I know Meredith is using her phone, and there could be problems. But anyway, so let's get started. I know Richard has to go very soon. So what we're gonna do is I will ask one more question for each of you guys, and then a same question again for each of you guys. Okay. So one question I really spent a lot of time thinking really hard to really get one question that can bring something unique from your side to this panel. All right. So with Richard, okay, Richard, the question I have for you, all right. So students are paying more than $1,000 working with you, right? If I remember correctly, that's like 10 sessions or something in your one-on-one program. Okay, so that's how much students are paying you, more than $1,000 to work with you in your one-on-one coaching program. So what is the one thing that made it possible for you to charge this much, to have students paying you this much, given that so many teachers, a lot of teachers included in the audience today, can't even charge more than $15 an hour? What would be that one thing made it possible for you?
Yeah. So the thing that makes it possible is that I'm not selling them English. I'm selling them a specific result to a very specific challenge using English. So what I mean is, if you're just selling general English courses, like teaching grammar, vocabulary, basic conversation and things, if that's the product, then you're going to compete with a market rate that will put you at, $15, $20 an hour. But if you're selling a product or service that is around solving a bigger problem using English, then it increases the value of your service, and it makes it so that you can have no problem justifying $100 an hour or more. So this is why in Bowie's strategy, we make such a big deal about your niche, because as you niche further and further, the problems become more and more specific, and your services become more valuable to help your niche overcome those problems. So for me, it's around, I work exclusively with very upper intermediate advanced English learners who are in their professions speaking English already. and they're constantly comparing themselves to the native speakers in their workplaces. And it creates a kind of imposter syndrome that has a very specific sort of psychological mindset challenge. And so I help them with the English language skills they need for business around pronunciation and fluency and vocabulary and things. But I'm also helping them with the equipment they need to overcome the psychological challenges of showing up to work, sharing their ideas in a way that feels confident, self-assured, removes the doubt, the anxiety. And so by niching, you increase your value, and then it makes it much easier to justify $100 an hour compared to just charging someone $20 to have a conversation with you.
Good. I like the answer. So let me see here. So based on what Richard said, I want to ask the audience any follow-up questions for Richard. We have Richard for another 10 minutes, so I wanted to make sure if you guys have any questions, right? So for Richard, I have one question here from Peter. My question to Richard is, how much time a week do you dedicate it to teaching, marketing, content creation, other, there's a lot of things, a breakdown, basically, how you spend your time. Question, yeah.
Yeah. My challenge is that I'm always working in my brain. So it's a problem of boundaries. And now, really, though, to do my current workload, I spend maybe 10 hours a week in coaching sessions. And then I spend probably another 10 hours a week on marketing. And then I do some consulting work as well that goes along with my teaching business, but I spend at least 20 hours a week on coaching, marketing, and selling my courses.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Richard. One more question before we move on. I think this question is kind of interesting because you talk about some coaching there. So does Richard have qualifications in psychology or mentoring?
No.
No.
But my training is in English language teaching. I have a master's in teaching English as a second language. I have done a lot of my own studying and learning around mental health and psychology for my niche specific problem. But I have no problem telling my niche that the limits of my expertise. I'm very honest and open with them about that. Yeah, that's so I'm coming at this from an English language educator.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah. If you guys have more questions, put it in the Q&A, and hopefully we have enough time for Richard to answer that. We do have another panelist finally found a way to join us. Let me just get Martin to the spotlight. Okay. And Martin, hello.
Hello. Sorry about the confusion. I was waiting for my big introduction to click for you to say, here's Martin, because I didn't want to just appear when someone else was talking,
okay.
and then it disappeared. So apologies for that.
All right, you have 1 minute. Your big introduction, please.
Okay, so my name's Martin Johnston. I'm from the UK. I started as a podcaster just because it was something I enjoyed. Obviously, I am an English teacher as well. And then the podcast grew and I suddenly started to think, how am I going to make some money from this? So then I started a membership area, and then I worked with James closely to help me build some digital courses. So that's what I'm doing now. My podcast is still the main place where my audience comes from. And then, so now I've got a range of different products that I sell them. And yeah, that's about it, I suppose.
Okay. All right. So Meredith has a problem joining as a panelist. So she is using her phone right now. I cannot add her to the panelist, but I think I can allow her to speak. Let me see here. Ask. Hey, Meredith, I think you can speak. So this is Meredith, okay? Meredith, can you speak? Oh, you told you. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Meredith, yes.
Hello?
I'm
Oh,
sorry
okay.
for all the trouble there. I guess we cannot see you, but we can hear you if you want to introduce yourself.
I know, so sad. Hopefully there's not a ton of background noise. It's the first time I've ever really tried to use Zoom like this from my phone because I am out and about, but I really, really wanted to attend. So hopefully the sound quality is okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, just a little bit noise, I think, in the background. Is that the same for you guys too? Can you hear her? Yeah, no, just make your introduction. It's fine. I think we can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Meredith. I am an accent coach. I started as an English teacher, but now I specifically help Spanish speakers who have already reached a high level of English fluency, but for some reason they just still have problems with people not understanding them because of their accent. So I specifically help them understand the phonetic sounds of English, which I think is one of the things that's most ignored and forgotten about when it comes to language teaching. We learn everything about grammar and vocabulary, but no one ever sits down and says, okay, so what kind of phonetics do we need to be able to use to properly speak this language? Because Spanish has approximately 22 phonetic sounds and American English has 44. So I help Spanish speakers improve their confidence when they speak English by being able to use all of the sounds they need and reduce their accents.
Gotcha. Thank you, Meredith. And I had an interview with Meredith 2-3 weeks ago. So I'm gonna share that link with you guys in just a minute. If you want to watch the interview later on, feel free to do that. And Meredith, so I will come back to you with a question, okay? So, all right, we finally got everyone here after 20 minutes, which is great, okay? So we had one question for Richard, which is good. And Richard, if you see any questions that's specific for you, feel free to answer them while you are here. I'm gonna move on to the next one. I will go with maybe Simone for one question, unique question for you, okay? So for Simone, she already made a introduction herself. So one thing I am very impressed by how much Simone has grown, how much she has done in her business is the fact that she knows her niche, her audience very well. So because I remember when we first started that over 4 years ago, 5 years, maybe 5 years even, when we first started working together, we try to work on the niche, like the audience Simone wanted to focus on. And then we went through a couple of students she taught, and then I suggested why the doctors. And then at that time, she was not sure. She was not sure this is what she even wanted to do. She didn't know much about them. She didn't really feel like comfortable working with them. But now, Simone, you know so much about your niche, your audience. You feel compassion for them, and students from your niche actually look up to you and know how much respect you've got from this niche, and you have really become an authority in your niche. So I want to ask you, what do you want to say to teachers who, like you before, had imposter syndrome when they first decided to work with a specific niche they're not familiar with, they don't have a lot of confidence in? What do you want to tell them? What do you want to say to them to help them overcome this imposter syndrome, to help them build more confidence in a niche, even if they're not very familiar with?
James, I just love that question so much. I mean, you came up with that question and it seems like you really know me and you know my heart. And so the truth is, when you said doctors, I was like, I don't even like doctors. Okay. Because I had been my mom's caregiver for 10 years and I'd had a lot of difficulties with different doctors. And so my initial reaction, I don't know if you know that, but that is really why, because I'd had so many negative experiences in the medical setting, and I am not a doctor. So, but I started really listening to them. So lots of strategy sessions and just listening and taking notes and having follow-up questions and consuming their content and learning about what it is that they were struggling with. And just having, when you see like a whole group of people having a struggle, it isn't really hard to have compassion on them, because you know, I had this idea that doctors are super smart, and of course they are. They're brilliant. They're geniuses. But they still have lack of confidence, and they still have setbacks. They still have failures. And I'd be able to meet them in those points with James's encouragement, actually. Find the points, you know, that you can make a difference. And so I really studied the whole process of how they go through the entire cycle of trying to get these jobs. And I found the points where English would intersect, but also where I could be a source of encouragement. And so, yeah, I mean, of course, you know, imposter syndrome was huge at the beginning. Like I said, I have no medical background at all. I didn't know anything about them. They used all these different acronyms. I had no idea what they were. And I just went on a deep dive study. I mean, that's what I did, and just talked to lots and lots of them. And like Richard, I appreciate what you said. I'm very transparent and open about the limitations of what I can do for them or what I know. But I always make the promise that you know, and this is another thing that James taught me. It's like, you know, even if you don't know it right now, don't you think you're going to do the best job you can to find out and help them? Do you remember that? And I was like, he's right. And most of us as teachers are going to do that. And that's where our heart is. We're going to go and find the answer and try to give the best one we can. And that's how I continue to grow. Like this year, I'm doing a deep dive on helping them with their applications and personal statements. And before I thought, oh, I can't help them with that. I mean, I still struggle with that. I just did a deep dive and I figured out what it is they needed and where their problems were, and developed things for them. That's how.
Yeah.
So that's mainly it. Just getting to know them, and as one other thing, try to see them in person if you can.
Right. I know you've been joining these like gathering and conferences, right, yourself. And I'm so glad seeing a lot of teachers in our community now, they're brave enough to join these conferences. We have a client, she worked with the Italian, traders, she actually went on the trade show, just meet people, talk to them, right? So I know, just get yourself out of the comfort zone. And I like what you said, when you see the struggle, it's hard to not have the compassion. The same thing for us. We talk to teachers, we work with the teachers all the time. When we see the struggles, it's hard not to have the compassion. Just and that is what I said yesterday. When you really understand your needs, your audience, you will feel the compassion. You will feel that you're obligated, right? That's what you feel, how you feel right now. Obligated to help them. You really want them to get matched, to get the success they deserve in the US. So really appreciate that, Simone. So this is one question for you. I'm gonna ask the question. Rachel, Martin, you guys good with time, right? So I'm gonna okay. So I'm gonna ask a question to Meredith, and one unique question, okay? And I think that's why Meredith really want to join, because she want to share about this one. Okay, for Meredith, my question here is, okay, so if you guys watched the interview I have with Meredith, and also you listen to Meredith, she used to work with companies, online companies, right? And she used to get paid for like $10 an hour, which is ridiculous, right? $10 an hour. And now she is having her own business, her teaching business, and she's making more than $100 teaching one-on-one, even more with groups, now with the membership, right? So for Meredith, what the question I want to ask is to teachers who are currently working with companies, schools, platforms, or agencies, like what Kelly said, right? So working for others, what do you want to say to them so they know they can do what you did too, 10 times your rate, and build a thriving business? Remember, like you told us, when you were at a point, you had so much doubt, you don't believe you can actually do it. What do you want to tell them today based on your experience?
So I think that when you are working with an online company, I don't think it's a bad place to start, because in that situation, you can kind of cut your teeth and feel what it's like to work with people, especially I started out with italki, where you set your own rates. And as James mentioned, I started very low because I just didn't know what to expect. And I was always hearing this stuff about like, oh, well, there's just a oversupply of English teachers available. So, you know, you can't really make a living. So I just put my prices low. But anyways, during that process, you learn what it's like to really work with people. And if you focus on yourself and your craft and becoming a better teacher, I think a lot of people focus on, how can I get more students? I'm not getting enough bookings. But if you focus on, okay, I'm getting these bookings, but like, what can I do to be an even better teacher? I think naturally you're going to draw more and more attention. And as you do that, you're developing the skills you need on the teaching side. And then the next step would be to develop the marketing skills you need to take it off of an online platform and independent. And that's exactly what James can help with. You develop your teaching skills as you're doing it. And then from there, the next step is the marketing. And if you just follow, you know, the steps, like especially LinkedIn, I think James normally encourages people to start there. I think it's a really untapped into market. And if you start reaching out to people, eventually someone's going to get on a call with you, and eventually someone's going to say yes. And then from there, it just snowballs and gets bigger and bigger. And you, before you know it, you'll be totally independent from the platform.
You're mute, James.
Sorry about that. Yes, thank you for that, Martin. So I'm saying, I was saying, Meredith, thanks for that. And anyone, if you have questions for Meredith, I know Meredith can stay for another 10 minutes. Feel free to leave your question in the Q&A section or the comments. We'll try our best to ask her to answer the question. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna quickly move on to Rachel. Rachel, okay. The question I have for you. So Rachel, we've been working together for a long time too. All right. So I won't ask any questions about like years ago. We don't need to talk about that. But I really wanted to talk about this success you had last week. All right, the workshop. Right. I was really happy to see what how that turned out, because you really deserve that. You really deserve that, because I know you work really hard to build this business. So you had also a lot of success hosting that workshop last week. Hundreds of students from your niche joined the session. There are like 700, 800 people registered, right? 200-300 people, I think even bigger than we have today, joined that session live. And a lot of them joined your membership during the workshop. It's like, they can't wait to work with you. So what do you think has contributed to the success you've seen from this workshop? Anything you can share with our fellow teachers in the audience?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think there's a number of different factors that contributed to the success of the workshop. And, you know, obviously after almost 5 years doing this business, you know, it has come off the back of other things that have been less successful. I don't want to get the wrong idea, but yeah, I think one of the things was the topic. So you know, I know my niche very, very well. I know their struggles, like Simone. Like I feel very passionate about my niche and the things that they struggle with, and the topic that I chose massively resonated, and it's something that comes up again and again and again that the people that I work with struggle with. So that's the first thing, the topic. And then, you know, running up to launching this workshop, I'd had a period in the business where I wasn't very active. I was having to kind of like come back in and kind of get momentum going again. So spent several months kind of nurturing, getting back out on social media, and I created a freebie using the same topic that then the workshop became. So I created this freebie guide. It was sent out as follow-ups to all my connections in LinkedIn. I was posting it in my Facebook group. I was posting it in my social media channels. And that helped to get lots of new people into my email marketing. And one of the things that I have found hugely useful when it comes to, you know, getting people into these workshops is email marketing. I know some people kind of think, you know, email marketing, does it really work? It really, really, really works. And so, you know, I had a lot of people that in my email marketing that then could respond and register. Another reason I think it was very successful is that I spend quite a bit of time in some of the really big Facebook groups. There's some really big Facebook groups that where my niche are. And I did some kind of clever posts to get a lot of traction in those groups. And I think I had probably about 300 actually register for this one big Facebook group. So utilizing Facebook groups, utilizing your network. So sending the information to people in my network that had their own networks to kind of share. So I think all those different things kind of contributed to getting people into the workshop. And then in terms of the workshop itself, I think one of the things that I've really learned from you, James, is that, you know, as well, I'm not a teacher, but as somebody who is coaching, you know, you just want to, we're very good at giving a lot of value, aren't we? Like, we really want to give a lot of value. And actually, you kind of have to learn the balance, because if you give all the value in the workshop, then why do people feel the need to then kind of sign up to continue working with you? So kind of finding that balance. I mean, it's a 2-hour workshop. There was a lot of value in there, but rather than giving everything away in terms of this is what you need to do, this is an action plan, actually holding back some of that, and then creating, you know, that need for you to be able to continue working with people. And I think that was really helpful. And then the final thing that I think in terms of getting people into the membership was, you know, was constructing a really good offer. You know, there's a lot of importance in how you construct the offer and how you sell it. And I never want to lie in my marketing. I'm not going to kind of create false urgency and false, but there are ways to create that in a way with integrity. And so I was able to sell confidently because, you know, I was confident in the value that I was giving. And I think that just kind of came across, and that contributed to lots of people signing up.
Great. Thank you very much, Rachel. Yeah, we can keep talking about it because this is not one thing you did right. There's a lot of things, but end of the day, I think what made this success, and I really think you should have got the success a long time ago, and you just you just didn't know how to do it. But I think what is the reason that you got the success is the heart, the effort, the time you spend with these people. You just build a relationship, really helping them. We didn't talk about just going through all these NHS, these places, do these workshops. I think you already built a good relationship with them right now, and now we just need to share what you know, and they can help them, and people just come. Of course, there are a lot of marketing stuff, right? We have to work out. Thanks for sharing that, Rachel. I'm gonna quickly move on to Martin, and then there's some questions for Meredith. If you can stay for a few more minutes, I'll ask these questions for you. So Martin, all right, Martin, hope you're ready for a question, okay? So you already mentioned you're the podcast guy, and we don't have a lot of clients doing podcasts, and you're one of them. And you use podcasts to grow your audience and the business. So we don't really talk a lot about them, but I do know there are a lot of interest in the audience. Okay, podcast sounds pretty cool, and a lot of teachers, they don't want to show their face, so social media, video marketing might not be the best thing for them, but podcasts, right, they might be able to do it to grow their audience, to grow their business. So I want you to share some tips for teachers who are interested in leveraging podcasts and maybe help them get started.
Okay, sure. So first of all, the thing you mentioned there, I was that person. I didn't want to show my face at all. On my website, I had a cartoon picture of me. So podcast is actually a great way to start because you can then build up confidence. So now I have no problem at all, like putting my face on the internet, but it's a great place to start and build confidence. And I just think with podcasts, it's just such a great way to build connections with people. But so I'll get onto that. So my tips though would be, number one, if you're going to start it, well, you need the tools, and the tools are really cheap. So you sign up. I use a platform called Podbean. It costs $100 a year. And then that will put your podcast everywhere. So on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on all of the big podcast apps. So you just pay $100 a year, you upload it, it's done. And you need a microphone. You can get a really good microphone for like $100. In fact, I'll put the link to one which I used for a long time. I used this mic, which is like $100. And it then broke after about 5 years, and I bought this much more expensive one, and I actually prefer the the one that was only $100. So it's a lesson. Don't always go for the most expensive stuff. So once you've got the tools, which, as I said, are really easy, like even an idiot like me can do it. You just need a microphone and you need to record yourself. That's it. Upload the MP3 to the platform. Bang, it's gone. It's out there. So after you've done that, be consistent. So the algorithm really likes this. So it will push your podcast up if you are consistent. For example, 1 podcast a week or 1 podcast every 2 weeks. And not only that, so I saw a statistic, which is 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 6 because people don't have traction and they think, right, that's it, I'm giving up. So if you make 10 podcast episodes, for example, your podcast will be in the top 10% of podcasts in the world. I actually recently saw mine. I saw this, and mine was in the top 1% of podcasts. But I don't want to make that seem. That's not like bragging, because I don't get millions of downloads. I'm just consistent, and I've been doing this for like 7 years. So it's easy. Well, it's not easy, but it's not that difficult. For example, if you want to be in the top 1% of YouTubers, that's going to be a lot more difficult. But you can do that with podcasts just by being consistent. So number 1, be consistent. So number 2, to grow your podcast, you need collaborations. And the good thing is everyone in the podcast industry is extremely friendly. Like, I reached out to people when I was getting like 30 downloads an episode at the beginning, and most of them were just family and friends that wanted to listen to what I was saying. So you just reach out to someone, I've got a podcast, and more often than not, obviously if you're reaching out to someone with millions of followers, probably not, but more often than not, they'll say no. For example, this is an open invitation. If anyone starts a podcast, contact me. I will have you on my podcast immediately. Absolutely no problem. And that already will be a start for you, because you can use my audience. And then obviously, hopefully you've got some interesting things to say, and then they will start listening to you as well. Because that's another good thing about people that listen to podcasts. They love podcasts. They want as many podcasts as possible to listen to. So collaborations. I would say number 3, be yourself. This is the most important. Don't try to be someone else, because I think this is the real good thing with podcasts. As I mentioned, you can build those strong connections, because when you listen to a podcast, it's just one person with a pair of headphones. So you can build like a really good relationship with that person. If you're scrolling through Instagram, you're probably looking at someone for like a 30-second video. If someone listens to a podcast, they're willing often to commit 20 minutes, 30, 40, even longer. So if you're doing that once a week, it's like every time I talk to someone, the first thing they will say to a listener is, I feel like I already know you, because maybe they've listened to 100 podcasts of me speaking. And I feel the same. I listen to podcasts, people I've never met, and I feel like I know them. And that also makes it easier for the selling process, because you've got such a deep connection with someone already that the selling actually probably comes easier. It will never be as popular as YouTube, but I think the quality of those relationships is stronger. So yeah, those are the main tips I would say, really. So get the right tools, which, as I said, you can do that for $200. That's easy. Be consistent, grow with collaborations, and be yourself. And if you do that, you will be surprised how quickly your podcast can grow. And you can sell things even on like 100 downloads an episode, because like I mentioned, the quality of those relationships is so high that even if you're getting such low numbers, you'll still be able to sell.
I like that very, very much, Martin. That has been a problem for a lot of teachers in our community, because there are many different ways of growing your audience, and social media, videos, a lot of typical things people do might not be the best, but you can always find something works for you. Thanks for that, Martin. So before Meredith has to leave us, one question for you, Meredith. What was the key block or limiting belief that you overcame to get your first high-paying client, and do you have a strategy for getting referrals? I think 2 questions, I guess.
Okay, so about the limiting beliefs, I think that when you're a teacher, we really understand this idea that we're selling our time for money. And so when we have that idea, it's very easy to think like, how could my time be this valuable? You know, how could it be? Who's going to be willing to pay $45 for just an hour? Who's going to be willing to pay 55? Who's going to be willing to pay 100 when it's just an hour? But the problem with that idea is that we're thinking about selling our time rather than selling a result. I think already other teachers have talked about that. Like Callie, I know, was talking about for marketing, trying to sell your result and not just like, I charge blah, blah, blah per hour, sorry. And yeah, I think that was my limiting belief, is just like about my time being worth that. And when I realized, like, if I put an offer out into the world and I say, I'm going to help you do X, right? And I put a price tag on that. If someone pays the price and does that, and especially if they then book another class and do it again, that means that the person has already proved to me that it is worth that amount. So I don't have to be the one to decide it. Like, I mean, of course I set my own rates, but like, if people are willing to pay them, then that's all the proof that I need, that to them it's worth it. Whatever I'm giving to them in terms of a result, for them has that value. And so I have to, rather than reject that, like, no, how can my time possibly be worth that much? I have to accept it, like, and even be proud of it. Like, I'm giving someone something of so much value to them that they're willing to pay that much. And I should be proud of that. And that's how I can get over the limiting beliefs to be able to raise my prices.
Thank you.
And what was the other question again?
How to get referrals, I guess. Did you mention referrals?
I did not mention referrals specifically.
Okay.
But I can, no, referrals as in like word of mouth, like getting people to refer me to others. I haven't really done that. I get people to leave testimonials, but.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I think if you didn't mention it,
Okay.
we'll comment on that next time. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Meredith. I know you have to leave, but feel free if you have to go.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time very, very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you guys. Bye.
Yeah, next time we're gonna figure out the problem is, okay, we're gonna fix it. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thanks for
Bye.
joining. Yep, great. Okay, so there are a lot of questions for you as well, learning about podcast. For those of you guys who are interested, we are going to provide more training on podcasts, even blogging. So I think these are softer ways of growing your audience. So less aggressive or less intrusive, whatever you call it. So it's easier to get on, just like what Martin said, that if I don't want to show my face, I don't want to do these videos or the posting all the time. What other ways for you to grow our audience? So we're gonna actually focus on that in the next half of a year. Podcasting, blogging, newsletters, writing newsletters. There are many ways to grow your audience. If you were here yesterday, right, we talked about that's one of the first step of the 6 steps, right? Oh no, actually identify your audience, understand them. The third step, grow your audience, right? Build your audience. All right, we have 9 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna ask one question and all of you guys need to answer one by one. And this question actually related to the topic we have today. All right, so this question is, you guys need to answer this one by one. We have 8 minutes, so I'll give you maybe 2 minutes each. All right, so this question, among all the different options for teachers to offer online. So we started the summit talking about all the different possibilities, all the different ways for teachers to make money online, to sell their services, to provide services, to make some income online, including like one-on-one teaching, group teaching, digital courses, memberships, all these options. I think all of you guys are doing it, all these options, right? 3 of you. So which one do you like the most and why? So I want to, you can talk about your experience with all of them and then which one you like. If you have 2, which 2 you like, it's fine. Just comment on these options because you have gone through this yourself. I will start with Simone. Simone, you want to go first?
Sure, James. Wow, that's a trick question because I do all of them, right? I just want to say that I feel for me, I should never, it was a good thing that I started with one-on-ones I would not be in the place I am now if I didn't have those one-on-one relationships from the beginning, because that's where I really started understanding their struggles and how I could help them. So I wouldn't skip that. That's my opinion. From there, I guess I have enjoyed group sessions also. I really love the live experience. I love working with groups and helping them collaborate together and build relationships with each other. And I don't know, this is not a guarantee, but I had 2 people that were in a group meet each other and now they're married. So it's kind of hard to beat that. You know, when I see, but I mean, you know, professional relationships, not always personal ones. But when I can build that together, that's my sweet spot for sure.
Good. All right, so you didn't answer which one you like the most, or you like all of them?
I'm gonna have to say one-on-ones and groups, but I do all of them.
Okay, that's your answer. That's great. Thank you for that. All right. And but one thing you have to, I think I need to make sure the audience understands. You need to have multiple ones, right? You cannot stick to one. I think that's the point. You can have one-on-one, you have groups, and Simone also have courses and also have memberships. So that's how you diversify, because it's you like all of these or you offer all of these, and we also need to make sure your audience, your potential students can find one that works for them. Not everyone can afford your one-on-one. Not everyone likes your groups. Not everyone enjoy in the membership. To always have options for them so you can help them, right? So that is one of the key takeaway from this.
Yeah, wait, I just wanted to, going back to what Amanda had said, she's very sympathetic or empathetic. It's hard for her to charge as what, you know, these $100 an hour. I don't have any problem charging $100 an hour, but I know there are some people that can't afford that. So I have offered these digital courses and memberships so that everyone really can access it. So that's my answer to that, and that's why I do it.
Nice, thank you for that, Simone. Okay, we're gonna move on to Rachel. Rachel, so what's your answer to this question? All these options, if you want to comment on them, and which one you like the most?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I started with one-to-one coaching, and like Simone said, like it, you know, it's a journey, and I'm so grateful for every single one that I've done, because it's been part of the journey. So, you know, like Simone said, one-to-one was where I needed to start. It's where I got to really connect with my niche. It's where I got to understand them. It's where I got to develop the materials, all in response to people's stories. So I really enjoyed one-to-one, but personally, you know, it was a lot of work. There was a lot of prep involved. It was quite awkward with kind of trying to get timings for doctors. And so, you know, on a long-term perspective, I didn't want to carry on doing one-to-ones, although I loved it when I did it. And also for me, you know, yes, I was selling £1,000 programs, but I was never 100% comfortable doing that. And like Simone said, you know, actually many of the people I was working with just couldn't afford to do that. So I wanted to be able to provide things that a wider number of people could access. So then I moved on to kind of group online courses and developed my digital course. So, you know, from the other extreme, I have something completely passive, which is now an online course, which was developed for my one-to-one coaching. Great, but I don't know whether people finish it. I don't know what they get out of it. It's, you know, I'm completely disconnected with it. And so, you know, for me, completely passive is not, you know, doesn't give me the satisfaction in what I'm doing. You know, I need that. I want that connection. I think that's important. And so for me, coming into a membership, it's a great balance. It's scalable because I go live every Wednesday night. That is my commitment in terms of live sessions. And that's where I get to meet, discuss, get feedback, you know, get people, you know, practicing strategies. And I absolutely love that relationship I can build with the doctors. They're in a WhatsApp community with me, so I can support them in that way. But then they get access. I have my own app, so they get access to the digital course and all my digital resources in the app. That's there, that's passive. They can work through it, you know, on those on-demand resources. So for me, because a lot of people just having something passive to work through isn't enough. They can't action it. They want that kind of connection. So being able to offer a membership means that you can offer something that's affordable for people, but you're able to give them that one-to-one support in a way, or kind of like, you know, you're connecting with them. They can see you face to face, and they also have access to all your stuff. So I'm really happy with that middle ground. It's scalable. There's not masses of my time involved in it, but it's hugely valuable for my clients. So for me, it's a membership, definitely.
Good. That's good. Thank you for that, Rachel. Martin, sorry, always having you the last one. Okay, Martin.
That's okay.
Yeah. So what's your answer to that question? Among all these offers, I know you have membership, you have different courses, you do one-on-one, you do groups, you do everything. So which one is your favorite?
Literally got all of them. So yeah, as we've already heard, it is a journey. And so for example, the digital course was the thing I had most difficulty creating, because you have to go through the other steps to actually create something useful. I wouldn't recommend just creating a digital course before you've sort of connected with your audience at all, because you could spend lots of time creating it and then no one's going to buy it. Absolutely. So yeah, so I've done one-to-ones. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of one-to-ones. I do really enjoy groups though, having live groups, like building that energy, and there's always really good class dynamics, and obviously you can charge more, so groups are really good. I also have a membership area, and again, I really like that, and that's really good because you've got like stable income every month. So, and I've had people in my membership for like 5 years now, and so that's really good. The only, because there are pros and cons to all of them. Yes. The downside, in my opinion, of a membership is that you constantly have to create new things, or you constantly have to be present. So Rachel mentioned that she goes live every Wednesday. Like I do similar things. So that can be a downside. Like if you want to take time off and stuff, it can actually be quite difficult sometimes, because people are paying their monthly fee, and sometimes you think, well, I don't want to do anything this month. So for me, to answer your question fully, is my personal favorite is actually digital courses, because you spend all that time making it, but then when people then buy it, you don't need to do any more work, which is the good thing. And so Rachel mentioned she hasn't really heard how people enjoy it and things like that. So I've had lots of feedback from people that it's made a real difference to them. And that's the great thing, that you can just keep selling it. And sometimes you wake up in the morning, I check my phone, and you've got a few notifications, and you think, oh, wow, like I made, I don't know, $500, like between the time I went to sleep and when I woke up. And that's brilliant. So that's, for me, what I prefer. Yeah, definitely. But it takes a lot of time to get there. That's the sort of caveat.
Absolutely. Martin, thanks for sharing that. All right, we're on time, which is good. Okay, so just to summarize, we talked about, we had one question for each of you guys, and I hope we went deep enough to kind of dig something very valuable for the audience today. And then we talk about all the offers. I know you've done everything, and there must be something you prefer and you like, and the reasons. I hope that can be insightful, can be helpful for the audience. So I will stop here, and thank you guys for all your time and the efforts here to make it happen. And if you guys can stay a little bit longer in the audience, in case there are more questions for you, to help us answer them, that would be great. Thank you very much. So what I'm gonna do next, okay, don't close. I will just remove you from the panelists. You can go back to the attendee, okay? And thank you again. And we're gonna say goodbye to Simon first. Hi, Simon, thank you very much. And you're lovely today. Thank you so much for that. And I'll see you soon, okay? I'll see you soon, Simon. Bye-bye. I will then, Rachel, hi Rachel, thank you very much for your time today, okay? I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. And Martin, appreciate it. You see the interest of podcasts. I really hope that we can probably do something more about podcasts. I don't have a lot of experience in podcasts, but really think there's a way to extract you've learned, and then we can maybe help the teacher community on the podcast. So I'll reach out to you. Thank you very much again.
Great. Thanks a lot,
Martin. Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, I feel lonely now, just myself. Okay. But anyways, I'm good. All right. So I want you guys to comment just thinking about what you learned from the past hour, or even with Kelly's session, with Robbie's session, with what I started at first. What is the one takeaway you still remember now, and you will bring home? You'll remember forever. You're gonna take action on. What is that one takeaway, guys? Okay, we have another 27 minutes. Okay, I still have a lot of stuff to share with you. So what is that one takeaway you've got from this summit on day 2 so far? The lot of takeaways from day 1. We're not going to talk about it. What is the one takeaway from my part at the beginning, talking about money? Let me give you a hand, right? Knowledge, monetization, and Robbie talking about passive income, no offers, educational resources, social media. Kelly came on. Talking about from teacher to tutors and all her journey. And then we have this panel. Oh my God, so many people have been speaking at the summit. What is the one takeaway? Let me read some of them. Okay, I'll try to get the energy back. Okay, energy back. Okay, Janita, your team is right. Per James. Thank you. Okay, well, okay, Deborah, really interesting ideas on podcasting. Start podcast. Okay, that's a good one. Simone, now I want to do a podcast. It's good. And I'm not setting time, I'm setting a results. Lovely. Mastery podcast, and that's your niche get better. That's Mercy. Andrew, we have to listen to you, start our own business, surely create a podcast. Wow. Cindy, there's so many pathways. Yes, there's so many ways, right? In a takeaway, I can start a podcast. Debbie, sending results. Okay. Membership is the way forward. Janine, good. Steffi is membership. Lily, keep doing my best and getting a training with you, James. Thank you very much. Don't start with a digital course, but get to know your audience first. Exactly, that's what we said yesterday. Identify your audience, build understand them, build audience, right? And Nadine, find your niche. Barbara, equipments need to get started. Okay. Tools, Facebook page, that's great. Jesse, if you do 10 podcasts, you are top 10. Jim, ready to stop $10 an hour. And be confident, believe in yourself is great. Marie, Robbie, what I'm good at, what lights you up and passionate about, what is there, what problem can I solve? All right, that's good. Decide a niche. Okay, niche. All right, I'm interested in expanding. Wow. I cannot read all of them, guys. Just read it and cheer up for each other. Okay, be consistent. Don't give up. Teresa, Mary, Alice. Yeah, Mary, I want to develop membership. Okay, and podcast. Yes, you can use a podcast to develop membership, and that's what Martin did, right? It doesn't have to be social media. It doesn't have to be something you don't like. Prepare for the meeting with James and continue the niche course, Darlene. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Okay, I have 24 minutes left, and I feel really good, much better today with the time. I was kind of rushing it yesterday. All right, so you know what I'll do? I will present the Teacher Academy one more time. I want you guys to really listen to me, okay? Sit down, calm, listen to me, what it is. Even if you don't join this time, I want you to understand what the Teacher Academy is, so you join when you are ready. It's okay, but this is the best thing. The best thing we want to develop, the business school for teachers who want to earn what they are worth by doing what they love. Now, you see the roadmap, you see all the opportunities, that's all included in the Teacher Academy, okay? So let me share this one more time. It's a little bit different from what I presented yesterday. I think I'm gonna do a much better job today, even better than yesterday. So just calm down, give me 10 minutes, listen to what it is. Don't enroll if you're not ready. As I said, we have this offer. If you feel like this is good, do it. If you don't feel like it's good, don't do it. It's simple. Give me 10 minutes, okay? Very quickly, just calm down. I will slow down. I will try to help you understand what is this Teacher Academy? What is this business school, James, you want to build, okay? So first of all, Academy focuses on knowledge monetization. That's why I started with knowledge monetization, because this is the movement. This is the future for teachers who don't want to rely on the companies, rely on the market, the government, and to diversify your income, to actually make passive income, to build digital assets, right? So currently at Academy, at the Teacher Academy, we do these 4 things. We help teachers create and sell educational materials. That's what Robbie mentioned. Develop and sell digital courses, publish and promote books, ebooks, and start and grow a membership. These are the 4 things we do right now. And we have a lot more in the pipeline. We're gonna add it to this business school, this Teacher Academy, social media ad revenue. We didn't talk about it. So you can make money by creating content, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. They're gonna pay you for creating content that can help millions of people out there. Brand sponsorship. If you have an audience, this company is gonna pay you for marketing their products. AI-related opportunities, I kind of highlighted that already. Affiliate marketing, you can introduce other products and make money whenever somebody buys through your link. So these are things we're gonna keep adding to the Academy. These are all monetization, knowledge monetization methods, okay? And there are many, many more. So that's what we do at Academy, and Academy follows the 6 proven steps I already introduced yesterday. Identify your audience, understand your audience, build your audience, capture leads, nurture leads, convert your leads. 4 steps, regardless of what you're gonna do, okay? One thing I want to highlight is on step 3. That's where we're gonna share all the ways of build your audience. Social media, like what Robbie mentioned today, email marketing, like Rachel mentioned, right? Podcasts, like what Martin mentioned, also referrals, how to build it up, right? Build your audience. That's what we're gonna cover. Not just social media, not just email marketing, it's all of these options for you to build your audience. Each step is built on the 3 success pillars. That's what I mentioned yesterday too. Strategy, technology, mindset. These are 3 success pillars. For each step of the way, we give you these 3 pillars to help you complete. So when it comes to strategy, we use strategy to guide you through the proven steps, okay? The Academy guides you through the 6 steps from building your audience to converting your leads. We'll give you training, give you everything you need to go through these 6 steps with strategies. And one thing to highlight is I do monthly strategy masterclass. Me and Robbie, every month we host 1 live masterclass to update you on the latest strategies to make more money online. Strategy, okay? Each step is built on these 3 pillars. The next one is technology. So technology for efficiency and a peace of mind. So if you were here yesterday, Christy talked about technology, and in the Academy, we cover all the tools, software systems. Teachers need to grow their audience, need to sell their services and the product online. So Thursday tech tutorials, that's what Christy does every Thursday, records and shares a quick 5 minutes video clip on one simple, effective task to develop your tech skills without feeling overwhelmed, okay? The next one, last but not least, mindset. I don't know how much you remember what Steffi shared yesterday. Mindset to make sure you take action. All right, Academy supports you to overcome your limiting beliefs, your mindset challenges, so you can be a better version of yourself, so you don't stop yourself from taking action. And we have this Monday Mindset Matters. So every Monday, Steffi shares some mindset tips, reminders, and visualization exercises to help you boost your mindset and get ready for your week. So these are the 3 pillars, and every step of the 6 steps, we support you with these 3 pillars, okay? And the Academy help you. So that's how we build the Academy. Then how we help you get the results. These 4 things, remember, training, coaching, community, and support. Let me highlight them one by one. So first of all, training. So we have this Academy training course. So it's a course that covers all these 6 steps, from identify your audience to convert your leads. Each step, you're gonna find training about strategy, you're gonna find training about tech, you're gonna find training about mindset. Okay, so this is new. All right, I didn't mention yesterday because you didn't know about knowledge monetization. So what happens is when you join the Academy, you're gonna have this main training course that takes you from step 1 to step 6. And when you are on step 6, you're gonna unlock mastery courses for each type of offers. There's so many offers. We cover them in these mastery courses. So right now we have 2 mastery courses, passive income mastery and teacher membership mastery. So passive income mastery, this is the course, the training covers educational resources on TPT. There's a lot of videos from Robbie, and publishing digital books on Amazon and selling digital courses on platforms. So these are training that tell you how to develop and sell them, but you won't need them until you finish all these 6 steps in the main course, the training course. So by the time you are on these masteries, you already have audience, you already know them, you already growing your audience, you already know how to identify leads, how to nurture them, and then you work on specifically the offer you want to develop and sell. So that's what we do with the academy training. And the other one is teacher membership mastery. I'm in the process of building it. It will be ready in September. So this is the mastery specific for membership. Build your membership with 3 offer categories, manage your membership with a 90% retention, launch your membership with founding members. All right, so this is mastery. So that means in the training part, you will have the main academy training course and the 2 masteries right now. But we're gonna, and that's how it works. The training course takes you through step 1 to 6, and then once you get to step 6, you unlock all these masteries. All right. So right now we have passive income and mastery, membership mastery in process, and we're gonna build other masteries. For example, YouTube partner masteries, affiliate marketing masteries, AI, all the things as I mentioned. Right. There are ways for you to make money. We're gonna have a mastery course to help you develop and sell them. So this is how training help you, and coaching. So when it comes to coaching, you're gonna have a coaching from me, Robbie, Steffi, and Christy. We have this monthly strategy class, masterclass for strategies, Thursday tech tutorials for tech, to help you improve your efficiency and save time, and Monday mindset matters to not let yourself stop you, right? So these are how we coach you through this academy training and exercises. So this is the coaching, and the next part is community. We have a community for the academy, so you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. Not only us, not only the Bowie team, everyone on the team, you get to connect with other teachers to network, get inspirations, motivations, hold each other accountable. We actually have this accountability partner. Once you join the academy, we're gonna show you how to find an accountability partner so you can have a closer relationship, even friendship with other teachers in the academy. Okay, the last one, support. All right, we support you daily. All right, you can post in our community. There's a messenger chat group. You can send messages. You can send the emails. We give you a lot of support to make sure you don't have any questions, right? So this is how we help teachers succeed with this training, coaching, community, and support. This is Teacher Academy. Okay. All right. So let me pause here. As I said, even if you are not ready to join the academy, I wanted to explain it to you because I know at one point in the future you will join us. This is the future. This is the future for teachers. This is what we focus on: knowledge monetization, okay, and offers. And we have the proven steps, 6 steps from beginning scratch to sell your offers, making money. And we have mastery courses for every single offers, like possibilities they can make money online. This is the future, and I believe it, and everyone on the team believes it. So I want you to understand what it is and how it works. All right. So tell me, did I do a better job today explaining the Teacher Academy? Did I do a better job today? Okay. Did I do a better job today explaining it? Okay. Yes, James, Sterling, well done. Yeah. So it's hard when we first started the academy in December. It was hard. We know the direction. It was really hard to conceptualize it, to help teachers understand what it is. Now, after 6 months, we've been like, you don't know how much time we spend on this. How many meetings I have with Steffi, with Robbie, everyone, Christy, to really figure this out. What is this? We know this has to happen. We can't wait until all the teachers leave in teaching. We need to have this ready. Before that, we want to build this business school for teachers to get strategies, the mindset, the technologies that allow them to earn what they're worth and doing what they love.